me.
Welcome to the We Love Gaming podcast. This is episode 62. My name is Godly Sovereign, aka Marcus, and it's another sunny day in California. It's pretty hot. It's not too bad, and we are here to talk about games. I say we because I am not alone. I have Sir Knight, the 1,000 Game Slayer, with me today. How's it going,
good, man? What's good? I'm doing good, man. You know, just chillaxing. I started work back up again this week.
Oh, okay.
So I've been a little busy. You
Right.
know, 'cause, a new position, whole new world of things to learn.
Okay.
Because the position's not like a traditional teaching position.
Right.
It's like a little hybrid thing with homeschool, and so it's like I'm a little bit of a fish out of water here because I'm used to like teaching in the classroom, not homeschool related.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been lots to learn, man, lots to suck in. But still, trying to find an ounce of time here and there to play some games. But
Yeah.
what about you, man? How you been?
I've been pretty good, man. It's it's been like a little busy week, but I still managed to get some game time in. So, just been kind of chilling, trying to beat this heat, man, because it's just whooping me, being out there on the road and stuff like that. But yeah, man, everything's been good. But before we get into like any games or whatever we've been playing this week, I just wanted to shout out all of the new subscribers. We've reached like 210 subscribers, so that's awesome. Appreciate you guys for subbing. If you guys haven't subbed yet, then what you doing, man? Hit that, smash that sub button, hit that like button before we even get started. And as always, the Patreon link is down below. The shop is down there also, just in case you guys want to donate anything to support, get some merch with you. But yeah, what have you been playing this week?
Yeah, so the first thing that I played this week was Hearthstone, a new expansion launched.
Okay, all right. You always on that Hearthstone, man.
I
As soon as the expansion, you give it like a good solid like 98 hours or something like that.
Yeah, like I still play it casually, but like when a new expansion launches, I get really excited because like I've been saving gold up, between each expansion. So I had like almost 9K gold. So that's like almost 90 packs, so it's like it's exciting, you get to open up all your packs, play around with your new cards. So that launched on Tuesday, man, and I was just kind of like playing that. And this expansion, I kind of went into it like pretty blind. So like normally on expansions, like I'll look at all the lead cards.
Okay.
I'll kind of get like an idea of like what I want to play, like even before the expansion launches. I might even like think about decks.
Yeah.
This time I didn't really do that. I kind of just like went into it blind. I watched a few videos revealing some cards, but for the most part I went into it blind. So I just like opened the packs and then I went into the collection. I just started like reading the new cards.
Okay.
So that was actually kind of fun. Like going into it blind was kind of like a new
And
experience
not
for
knowing
me.
what you were actually getting.
And not knowing I was going to begin. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like it was all new and fresh. So like I had a lot of fun like building new decks and trying new things out. Some cards like popped out at me that I could help like change an old deck, make it new and fresh again.
Okay.
So that was quite a bit of fun. But I was also like really anticipating the new Gamepass games.
Okay.
Because a lot of these ones that are coming out in August, which we're going to go over today, a good amount of them, like 3 or like 4 of them came out like yesterday, like 2 days ago.
Really?
On Thursday, like the 5th.
Okay.
So I was like really looking forward to a few of these games that came out on the 5th. And one of them even launched like on the 4th at 9 p.m., right? Because like midnight would be the 5th.
Right.
And that was the one that I was
East
actually
Coast time.
most excited to play this week, and that was Curse of the Dead Gods.
Okay.
If you look at the
Dead
Game Pass
Cells.
list, it's not Dead Cells. It's a Dead Cells update, but it's a whole unique game. It has nothing to do with Dead Cells.
Okay.
The game is unique. And I heard a lot of good things about it because a lot of people were comparing it to Hades. And, Hades is my jam,
Hades just is
So,
there.
like, I was really pumped for that, and I saw some videos, and I was like, that does kind of look a little bit like Hades. So I was really looking forward to playing that, and so that became, like, the game that I ended up playing, like, the rest of the week, like, after Hearthstone. So I was playing Hearthstone, like, all day on, like, Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yeah.
And then, like, when Thursday hit, Friday, what little time I had Friday, I was just playing Curse of the Dead Gods.
Okay.
And it's really good. Like, it is really solid in a lot of ways. Like, and it is very similar to Hades, but it's a little different because, like, on a lot of these roguelikes, like, let's say Slay the Spire. I'm not sure if you ever played Slay the Spire or not. Basically, on that game is like you have like a branching path.
Right.
And so when you beat a boss or you beat a room, then you get to look at the map, the whole map. And then like you'll have like 2 or 3 branching path options that you pick.
Right.
And then like you shut yourself off to all the whole other pathway. So you get to look like really far ahead. Where like on Hades it's like room to room. Right? Like you get to pick like room to room.
Yeah.
You'll have like 2 branching paths you can choose, but it's like you can't see beyond those 2 rooms. With a lot of these ones, like say the Spire, I can see, okay, 4 rooms down, there's a weapon. So I want to go this pathway because I want to get to that room that has the weapon. Right. So that's a pretty cool way of doing things, and this game does that. The combat is like very similar to Hades. It's not quite as strong in my opinion, but it's very similar, and it's very well polished. So it's a lot of fun. And it's like the exact same thing. It's isometric. You're looking down at your guy from above.
Voice actors?
No voice acting.
So
Hades is like on a whole nother level when it comes to like everything is voice acted. Okay. There isn't even really a whole lot of like story, to be honest. No? It's just basically it's just like gameplay. You fall into a cursed dungeon and you're just trying to slay the Spire, right? Go to the top. You're trying to get to the top of the tower.
You try to get out, man.
You're trying to collect loot. You know, you're trying to collect the power that's down there from the dead gods, right? And so, I'll say like the combat is really good, very polished, feels great. The gameplay is very similar to Hades, where like you're looking down at your guy. And it's an action, like an action ARPG. You're pressing buttons, swipe, 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 comboing, you know? Yeah. And you have like a special and you have like a relic. So there's like lots of copies from like Hades. The things that I don't like about it in comparison to Hades is there's a shit ton of weapons. Like a whole lot of weapons. And you kind of got to unlock them all. And you get to start off with a random one from your pool. And the pool can be massive, dude.
That's why it's like Dead Cells.
That's more like Dead Cells in that regard.
Right.
It's very similar to Dead Cells in that regard.
You're just opening up your options of what you can roll into. Whereas you get.
But the difference is, like in Dead Cells, you get new weapons pretty often. Like there's little power-ups and weapons all over the dang place in Dead Cells. Yeah. There isn't in this game. Okay. Like you have to really climb to find a room that has a weapon upgrade, and that's what's disappointing, is because that weapon may not even be that much different or that good. Oh, okay. So you end up like just sticking with your base shiz.
So you can't even really see what weapon there is. You just see there is a weapon.
There's a weapon room. Do I
want to waste my time going towards that, or do I want to go towards this?
The power ups or whatever, gold or whatever. Yeah. Right, exactly. And so you're like, dang, this really sucks. Because I want a new weapon because my weapon isn't that great. Right. But even when I get to that room, it's just a random roll from my pool of weapons. And there's lots of crap weapons in there. So it's like, where Hades is very specific, man. Like, you have specific weapons, and they're all bad to the bone. Like, every one of them are bad to the bone. And you, like, get to pick which one you want to use to start each round. Yeah. Right? And so, I don't know. It just feels a little better. Right? You get to pick the exact weapon you want. Yeah. It's not completely random in that regard.
Said that it gave you benefits to choosing the weapon that they recommend for that round.
Right. And every weapon... You
get, like, extra points or something.
Every weapon... It like rotates is like the juiced up one for that run. Right. You get to pick if you want extra points or whatever. Pick that weapon.
So it allows you to get more versatile and be able to test everyone. Even if you don't want to test it, it just gives you the option.
Exactly. That's what kind of keeps it fresh, rather than having like this random roll system like that this game does and like Dead Cells does. I don't mind it with Dead Cells though, only because they're throwing so many weapons at you. Yeah. And that's what's fun about Dead Cells. Like they're throwing so much loot at you. Like, it's a ton of fun. Right. First of all, the combat's fun in Dead Cells, but what's also fun is they're just throwing so much loot at you that you're just, like, having a blast. Oh, this is dope. Let me upgrade this. Let me upgrade this. Right. This game isn't like that. There isn't really a lot of upgrades. Another thing I don't like either about this game is when you enter the room, let's say, for instance, the weapon room. Let's say I want to go back to that room again. In Hades... When you let's say you choose like a Zeus room, right? You know, you get the power at the end, guaranteed.
Okay.
Like once you clear the room, you get the power.
Right.
Or you can choose a shop room. So let's say like you killed a room, you got whatever you needed to collect, and now you have your branching path. You can choose which way you want to go.
Yeah.
One of them's a shop. One of them is a Zeus room or a Poseidon room or Aphrodite's room, and you pick which powers are kind of line up with what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
In this game, you get to the room and you finish it and you clear it. In Hades, you get your power up. In this one, there's like a downfall, dude. You have to buy it. You have to spend to get even the power up that you just cleared the level for.
So you may go through rooms and not be able to purchase anything because of how expensive it is.
Yeah. Or you have to like use your own soul, and that like the more you do that, you're cursed, and the more so it's like Returnal that way. Like you got malfunctions.
Yeah.
And so like the more you do that,
shit,
and if you get too many, like you overly malfunction.
Right.
The same thing here. Like if you get like four of them, I think.
Yeah.
Then you're dead. So it's like, dude, this really sucks. Like I really want that weapon, but it's gonna cost me like 80 freaking curses, right? And it's like every 100 curses is a malfunction.
Oh, okay.
And I only allowed 4 of those, and it's like this. And so basically, I pick it, and whenever you open a door to the next zone, you get cursed too. So even going to the next room, you're gonna get curse points, like 20 of them. So
Is there ways to get rid of the curses? Because that sounds like it wouldn't be very productive.
So some of the weapons that I've come across will be like remove 1 curse on a kill, but it's completely random. So you may not get it, or you might come across a relic that just removes curses, but it's all completely random. So I haven't really come across like an instance where I'm able to just like dump my curses away. It's very rare. There's been like 1 or 2 instances.
Right.
So really the way, like they'll give it to you for free, but it just costs curse points. I just don't understand. I'm trying to figure out in my mind like why they felt the need to add that little extra dimension of difficulty to the game.
Yeah.
I don't really understand why they did that.
Do you know how long the actual game is?
I don't know. I've gotten to the end of only 1 biome. There's like 3 major biomes, I think, or 3 towers.
Oh, okay.
I've gotten to like to the end of 1 of them. So I haven't seen the other 2 yet. So I don't know. There's like some other things that I seem to unlock. Like once I finish like these biomes, like some challenges or something unlocked. So there's like quite a bit of things to do, in the game.
Right.
But I'll say this much: like the game is really fun to play because it's got great combat. I don't like the defeating a room and I have to pay a cost to get what I just earned. I feel like once you defeat all those enemies, they should give you something, man. Give you a reward. I wish it was voice acted, and I wish that the weapons were a little bit more. Had a little more power in the weapons I get. So I'm fine doing, like I said, a random weapon generator, as long as you're throwing more weapons at me pretty frequently. And so I haven't really seen a lot of weapons thrown at me very frequently. Yeah. And every time I do, I got to pay for them, which is so annoying, man. It's so stinking annoying. And that's for everything in the game. Like, in Hades, when you enter like the Zeus room, you get the power up. In this game, I can enter a power up room too, but I have to pay for that power up.
So you have to pay for everything.
So like there is one instance where you find chests. There's a chest in the room where you just get like a relic for free.
Right.
And that's cool. But for the most part, when you pick to enter a room, at the very end of it, you have to pay for what you picked that room for. So if I picked that room for a power up, then I have to pay for that power up with my soul. Okay. Or if I picked a weapon room, I have to pay. Freebies at all? Like I said, you come across chests every now and again that you can crack open that have like a relic or something in there. Yeah. But it's not very frequent. Like for the most part, like your room is what you're using to upgrade your guy. Okay. And like by the end, man, you're taking quite a bit of hits too. And like it's like it has this light and darkness mechanic where like, cause you're in a tomb, so it's dark. Mm-hmm. And you hold out your lantern, you walk around, you can see. If you're in the dark, you take 50% more damage. But you have to put your lantern away to hit things.
You can't use 2 hands?
No. What? Because like when you pull your weapon out, you have like 2 weapons. You have like a whip and you have like a sword. Uh-huh. And like your whip is like, it does something special. Or you might have a gun. So you have like a sword and a gun, or a dagger and a whip, or a dagger and throwing knives, right? You'll have like 2 things. So the only way you can do combat is if you put your lantern away and now you're in the dark. So what they do is they have like these little like torches you can light in the room. Yeah. But like if they get hit by you or hit by an enemy, they break. So you're back in the dark again. So you're largely fighting in the dark. So now you're like fighting at 50% extra damage. It's like, dude, this is just kind of like a little annoying. They probably have
some kind of a power up that gives you a counteract or gives you like, cat eyes, let you see in the dark or some shit. You know what I mean?
But it's more so I have to be standing in lightness to not have that debuff of 50% damage. So yeah, it'd be cool if they gave me like a belt lantern. Like that'd be cool if there was like a powered up that's like, a belt lantern.
Or a floating lantern.
Or something that's like I don't have to use my hands to like have active.
Right.
But I haven't come across something like that yet. Mm-hmm. So basically that's what I spent the majority of my time on this week is Curse of the Gods. I'd play it again, but to be honest, Hades comes out next week. And so like I'm way more excited about that.
Now what day does it come out?
I believe that comes out Friday of next week. I'm almost positive.
The 13th of August.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'm hoping like it's the 12th at 9.
Probably.
You know what I mean?
You gonna play that sucker again?
Heck yeah, dude. I'm gonna play that thing again on a controller.
So that was it? That's all you played?
That's all I played. There is actually one other game that I do want to play that came out Friday as well, and that was Dodgeball Academia.
Oh yeah.
I really wanted to play that quite a bit. Okay. They revealed that at E3. You probably didn't notice it. It was on Xbox's showcase. Okay. And it looked really cool to me because it reminded me of the old school tennis on the Game Boy Advance that we used to like, Mario Tennis.
Yeah.
Where you had like the academy and like you went through the tournament and stuff.
Right.
That's what it looked like.
Okay.
And so I was like, that looks really cool. I actually think that'd probably be a cool Switch game. Of course it's free on Gamepass, but I'm just saying like that kind of game would be dope on the Switch. I think like
you might
portable.
Check it out. It might be really good. Cloud, if the cloud.
It might work on the cloud. You could play on your phone then, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that game I'm definitely gonna be checking out probably this weekend or next week if I get a chance.
Okay.
So check back next week on my thoughts on Dodgeball Academia. But that one looks pretty fun too. So that's what I've been excited for. So Game Pass has just been like my jam right now. Like just Xbox has just been where it's at. Like even with Innocence, like since I'm on my Xbox, I just ended up downloading Tales of Plague Innocence on my Xbox.
Oh, okay.
Because I've kind of been turning my Xbox on more recently. Yeah. Because like Game Pass and stuff.
Right.
So I just downloaded. So when I get a chance, I'll probably play that on my Xbox.
Yeah, definitely get it.
So anyways, what you been playing, man?
So yeah, I play like a little variety of games. I believe I already told you I beat Plague, right? Yeah, I told you I beat Plague.
Yeah.
Plague Tales.
One more thing. Starmancer came out on PC on Game Pass on the 5th as well, and that one was a very popular game too. But that's PC only. So I also want to check that game out. So I'm letting the crowd know like that's another dope one. Like a lot of these are already out. Like you can play them like right now. So
okay. But yeah, so for what I played, I finished up Days Gone. So PlayStation, I finally finished that one up.
Cool.
I knew I was like a couple of missions. I felt like I was a couple of missions away, so I had a little extra time. So I was like, let me check it out, play a little bit, and I was like really close. So I was able to finish it, polish it off. And then I played Let It Die.
Oh, the one you mentioned last week?
Yeah.
With homie Brahms?
Yeah. My boy Brahms. He was telling me he was playing some more of it and stuff like that. So I loaded it back onto my PlayStation, fired it up again. Dude, man, like I had so much. You have like this little mailbox that they just send you stuff. Like every day
so whatever. You haven't been on for a while, so you
I haven't
piled
been
up
on for like almost a year or something like that. So I just had like tons of stuff. And then I guess there was when you first start, I believe they give you like the Express VIP pass or whatever, which lets you use this like secondary elevator as well as have like some extra slots of storage, some other things like that. It's just like to entice you to pay for it like later after it goes away.
All right.
So the character that I had was using it and it had the extra slots. So all of the extra shit that it did have, it ended up getting shipped, to the mailbox and stuff like that. So I just had this mailbox full of stuff and I had to empty it out and even in order to even, play. So I'm talking about like, not like weak things like, like little items here and there or whatever that I had on my character. I'm talking about like mad money, like 40,000, 50,000. The max you can hold is 100,000. So it doesn't seem like a lot, but because Let It Die, I don't know if you guys have ever heard Let It Die. It's basically like a tower climber or something like that.
That's like Dark Souls in nature and combat style.
Right, yeah. It's roguish or whatever, but you have like your character, And it's not like you have a specific character. It's like you can go into a freezer and pick out several different bodies that you want to choose from. You know, whether you want like a striker, which has like more strength, or a collector, which has more inventory spaces but less strength and things like that. And you have to counter that. And then as you play it, the more you play it, you get access to higher tiered bodies that will allow you to have a better chance of survival as you climb.
So a little bit kind of like Mortal Shell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but except Mortal Shell, you were snagging the bodies on the actual field or whatever. But
yeah,
these,
but I'm just saying, like
you're
you're possessing a body that's different.
Right.
It changes and
and then you can also take
whatever.
the bodies that you've boosted up to like its max level, because they do have caps. Each of them have like caps and whatnot for each tier. So you can take those and put those out on expeditions to like go and collect resources and different things like that. Go and experience some of the tower without you, so they can prove useful even though you're doing something else, you know. So they don't just sit around like, oh, that old 1-star body doesn't just sit there. Like you can sit down on an expedition to collect shit and then just, you know, collect from it every day or whatever. But anyways, like they have like certain things that they call like decals. So, you know, as I said, like your tiers, the body tiers or whatever, have a certain number of decals they can use. So you can use all that money to purchase premium decals. So they have regular decals that you can buy, which costs like the same gold and stuff like that. But they're one-time uses. So like they're only good for that one character or whatever. But if you buy the premium ones, you just have them, and they can be used as many times by all of your characters. Like you got it, you could use it. So it's not limited. And so it costs like 50k gold. So you can just keep buying premium decals like all you want, just stocking up, because I had so much money in that damn mailbox.
So you just kept buying things to
like
pull
maybe
out of the
over
mailbox?
like maybe a million or something like that in gold just sitting in there. So I bought at least like 20 or 30 of them, and then I just left the rest of the money just sitting in there. And then, you know, as you climb the tower, you get money too. So, you know, and then everything that you buy, like you get blueprints as you go up, you know, and climb up the tower. You find blueprints, and you can take those, drop them back down off at your research and development spot on the first floor. And then, you know, they can find you new things that you can purchase.
So has the game changed a lot since you last played it? Or is it basically the same thing?
It's pretty much the same thing. Like it's the same. It's the same thing. Same tower climbing, you know, and you got all your weapons and different things like that. That as you find more blueprints on, you can just purchase them, and then the more you use it, the more proficient you get in it. So the more damage you get.
Right.
You can also research and develop if you have the materials to make those weapons better, so that when you purchase them from your dealer or whatever, they're just a lot stronger. And
so when you die, you restart with a whole new guy, right?
No. So when you die, so you have these little things that there's like these little skulls. They're like the premium currency type of currency or whatever.
Right.
But you get them for free. So like in my mailbox, I had at least like 20 or 25 of them just in there because they give them to you. So I stacked all of those up. You know, I collected all of those and I had them. And basically, as you're climbing the tower, if you die, you can use one of those to be able to restart right there, like come back to life, like to resurrect yourself. And
if you don't use one of those, then you have to pick a new body, right?
Yes and no. So if you don't use one of those, you would leave your corpse on that floor, wherever you died at. Your corpse, you would see your corpse resurrect, and then it would carry out to do its own bidding on that floor. And then you would go down to the first floor, and then you would pick a new body in the freezer. You would appear at the freezer, and then you have to select a new body that you have, or purchase a whole new body with gold. And once you get that, you can either, like in your selection of the freezer, you can choose to pick the body that you just left up there. So like, let's say you didn't want to use one of the premium currencies, but you had gold, so you want to use like 100,000 to resurrect it and bring it back to your freezer. You can do that. Or you can choose to find it on that floor that it was killed on, go back up there and kill it yourself, and you'll take it back.
And on your basement floor where your freezer's at, you can use the weapons you've planned and researched already, right?
Yes.
So that's what makes it like a roguelike, right? You're kind of like dying and restarting, but some stuff carries over to each new run, right?
Yeah, like you can bring that body back, and then it'll still have all of the gear it had on it, so you could take that gear off and use it on a new character. But as you're searching, you want to find materials and blueprints, but you also have to find weapons and different things like that to keep yourself alive, health. So you kind of got to like ration out your spots for what you have in your bag. Like, oh, okay, I don't need this, so I'm going to get rid of that or whatever, so I can, collect this and keep going and stuff.
Yeah, a little different. So the moral of this game story is start an account and come back this time next year, and you'll have all the goodies to play it like a boss.
No, basically, if you check back in every day, right? Like if you just sign in every day, you'll get something. So you don't even have to play it for a while. You could do like what you said, but you could just sign in to get even more
to get your stuff.
Yeah. Because they also give you like they ship like a box in, and you can open the box up and it'll have something random in it. But as I was going through like all of my extra inventory shit, there's like some Captain Yadamoshi or something like that. I don't know. You guys, Brahms, you have to put it down in the comments if you actually receive something from Captain Yadamoshi or something like that. I don't know who that is. I don't know if it's a character or what. But this captain sent me like 3 swords.
Cool.
And they were like wicked swords. Like one was like 51 attack. Ooh, that doesn't sound like it's crazy, but when you're like a level 1 holding a 50 attack sword, you're doing like mad damage and you're able to go through.
Right.
And then on top of that, they sent me another one which is like 100 and like 25 or something like that attack, but it required more strength. And then I got another sword that was like 220 attack, and it required even more strength. It required like
Moshe hooking it up, man,
or something like that. Yeah, Captain was giving them up, man. So
he's probably just some. Damn. He's probably just some like let it die stand that was like throwing out freebies to people.
Maybe, or I think it was part of the game. I think it was like something in the game. Yeah,
sounds like a character
I don't
name.
know anybody who's sending me shit. So.
Yeah, but maybe you're able to send things to random people. Like you just look at player list and send random things to random people.
Yeah, I haven't encountered it yet, but maybe. And I played it before a while back, and I don't remember ever like being able to send shit to somebody in the mail or whatever. But I don't know. But if there's a Captain Yadamoshi out there, thank you. So I was using that sword, man. I
don't know why the game would give you something OP like that. That sounds like something like a power level thing. OP,
you know when like every weapon you use has a short amount of use and then it breaks.
Oh,
you don't have it.
I see.
So, but I did find a blueprint for a sword. So I just need the materials to create it for the first time, and then I'll be able to purchase it every time after that. So I have to be on the hunt for those actual materials. But that sword was nice, man.
I'm just saying it sounds like one of those things like, in Diablo when you join that one dude's world and he throws out like all this loot. You're just like, oh snap!
Yeah, I think I told you about that, right?
That's what it feels like. What you're
saying.
I
was playing Diablo one time and I came across somebody who
he joined too, and like he power leveled us to like a ridiculous level.
Yeah, and then I asked him how.
And
then
I never played Diablo again because he ruined the game for me.
Yeah, he showed me like a whole bunch of like freaking hacked gear or something like that because you could be on PC and still play with like PlayStation or whatever. So he just dropped like the whole set for me, and I took it and I was blitzing around the map, just killing everything, man. But yeah, it makes it so
kills
like
it,
you don't
man.
want to play
I know.
like that. But it's cool to experience.
Yeah.
But you definitely want to take that shit off and put your regular.
I would just say like be careful when you do stuff like that because it sucks the fun out of the game real quick, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, for
There's
sure.
no more reason to play.
Yeah, but so I played some more Let It Die, and I forgot, like, I remembered how fun it was, but like, and that's why I had recommended it to Brahms, because it was a game that I really enjoyed. But like playing it again, I was like, damn, I want to play it some more. You know what I mean? Like, so I want to get back into playing it.
Maybe I'll download it on PS5.
Yeah, on the PS5. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they're not. I don't think that they're doing anything else for it.
That's what I was saying last time, man.
Like October 2020. So I don't. Maybe there's just not anything like that.
That's what I was mentioning last time.
There's gotta still be a Let It Die community out there somewhere. So if you guys have not played Let It Die, and you have a PlayStation Plus,
You're trying to revive it, huh? Revive it.
Yeah, let's fucking start a group, man. Let's get some shit going and get some people back out there.
Funny,
you know,
man.
I do know that there's people playing because they still have wars and stuff like that going. It's just probably really, really reduced. It was already a low key game, anyways.
Yeah,
but yeah, so
that's why I was like, that dev team's probably long gone, man. Like just letting their game sit. Is anyone in the, blowing the cobwebs off this game in that dev studio? Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's interesting. I'm gonna have to like search for their Twitter and see if they ever like, what's the last thing that they
search for their Twitter.
If they're actually still like invested in bringing a game, because it's still a currency on there, that you can buy and stuff like that. But it's a fun game to play, So I was playing that, Let It Die. The other one, and I think I was playing something else, but I can't remember. I was still playing Forager for a bit. And then of course, I spent a lot of time playing BDO, Black Desert Online.
Oh, you mentioned that.
So I was playing that some more with my father-in-law. Shout out to the Lightly Working Guild. I joined them, and it was like playing with this guy named Classic, another dude named Reaper, a couple of other people. It was a large guild or whatever. But last night, like late last night, we were basically I was getting power leveled. So I had Reaper was out there. He's like 60 something or whatever. And so we literally just like went to this area. I gotta tell you, man. So like Black Desert Online is fun. You know what I mean? It's like it's the stuff that I miss from like World of Warcraft and stuff like that, because it's been so long since I played like an MMO. But it's intensive, because there's so much shit that you have to like keep your eye on and like know what buttons to press and things like that, because there's so many skills and abilities. It's literally made for the PC,
right?
For them to have ported it on,
right?
The game console is like cool, but it's extensive,
right?
He power leveled us. I think I was like 26, and I got power leveled to 56 or something like that.
Dang.
So just, within
in one night,
like 2 hours or something like that. It might have been like 2 hours. So, there's always stuff to click on, and you get the rewards and different things like that.
Right.
And then, you got your XPs and potions and stuff like that. But man, it's crazy. I'm still weak as fuck though, because I have like no gear, no proper gear for my level, so I have to actually like go back to the main questing area and then follow the.
I know. See, that's part of the reason why like I probably wouldn't want to. That's one reason why I kind of avoid the power leveling thing, at least for my first go through on an MMO. Like, let's say like I played Black Desert Online all the way to like level 60. Then when I start a new character, I want to be power leveled. Because, like, I already know what to do. Like, I've done it all the way through with one guy.
Yeah.
But doing that on my first guy is, like, something I don't really want to do when I first start an MMO. But, like, subsequent characters, like, I'm cool with being power leveled.
Yeah, but it's weird because it almost doesn't matter. Like, as I leveled up, I didn't get any new gear. You know what I mean?
No,
like,
you just get skills
you have,
and
like, your
stuff.
spirits and stuff like that. Yeah, so you got the skills, but your skills do nothing if you don't have the proper weapons to channel your skills through. Because I'm playing as a wizard, so I have like a staff and a dagger, and like I'm like 56, but like I was fighting things in that area, and I was not even touching their health bar whatsoever. So it's kind of like, the levels is just the levels. You know what I mean? I still have to do all of the work of the missions and everything, and I'm still gonna be in that range to fight the missions, to fight those characters in the missions.
Well, see, like in a game like World of Warcraft, if I'm level 50 and I go to level 10 zone, doesn't matter if I have a level 5 weapon on, I'm gonna be one-shotting everything.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to see how it looks when I go down to the weak ass areas that I was at to like level up and stuff.
Right.
But it's weird because I was telling you and Mark in the WLG chat, about it, that I was playing it and stuff. And, like, they give you money out the wazoo, man. Like, I've got, like, 66 million coins. But it, like, means nothing. It's almost like having $5 or something.
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
inflation.
Because it's
clearly
like,
it's inflated.
Like, the horses in the game, like, to get, like, a tier 8 horse,
it's all relative.
You need, like, 100 and something million.
Yeah, it's all relative.
Just to get, like, a really good horse. The dream horses are, like, billions. You know what I mean? And that's, like, tier 10 type horses, which is, like, nuts. But yeah, it's like, you know, like the money, it's like it's definitely like it does not matter. Like they give you so much money,
Yeah.
and then you have so many exp like boosts and increases and stuff like that that you actually it's made for you to level quickly so that you can get to like the end game stuff or whatever. So and apparently there is no actual like there's no cap. Apparently you can get like as high as you want as long as you want to grind it out.
Right.
Like
that sounds like a lit RPG.
Yeah.
In those lit RPGs, it seems like you just kind of keep going
there's
forever
no
and
cap
ever.
or
There's no
something like
cap.
that,
And you hit a point where like getting one level is like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so you know, shout out to Lightly Working and whatnot, and had fun, you know, playing it. Did a little bit of like, you know, guild type stuff, or you know, you doing like boss battles with like a large group of people and stuff like that. So that was okay. So a couple of glitches, like we were fighting this dragon, and then we got it close, I guess, to being dead. It's weird because when you're a pissant level, you can't, or you don't know much about the creature, you can't see where its health is at. So it just looks like a full bar, and you're just fighting this inevitably strong monster, and then it'll die. But this dragon just decided to up and leave in the middle of fighting. So
that sucks.
We didn't get any of our stuff. I guess it's like a thing that happens if you take too long. It just says, "Fuck this shit, I'm gone." It just goes. So
y'all too weak. I'm out of here.
Yeah, it's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I'm out.
You know what I mean? So,
that's funny, dude.
But yeah, so you know, I was just playing with that and everything. So it was cool. I mean, if you guys happen to join in, you know, it would be fun.
Yeah, I don't know if I feel like dealing with something like that intense, but it's cool. You got a guild to help you out. That's what I mean. That's what I mean, though.
Once you get like, you have like I don't know how it is for other characters, but you know, for the wizard, you have like your 6 abilities or whatever that you can see. You have all these other abilities that you can use, but like you might just use them, you might not.
Well, that's what I mean, though. I don't want to know like all my abilities if I want to do it.
On the main 6.
I want to do this correctly.
Those are your bread and butter, right? Is the main 6.
Yeah, but that's the same with WoW. Like in WoW, you have like, you know, nuanced abilities, you know, that you don't really use that often, but the people that know how to use them correctly are the ones that are really successful at the game.
Yeah. So I mean, you can definitely do that.
That's what I mean.
There's only so many buttons you can click on the controller, right? But it's always like combos and things like that.
Yeah.
But you know,
that's what I liked about. See, that's why New World is so much more appealing to me, because there was like only 4 abilities that you're like using at a time.
Oh, okay.
Like, so that's what I mean by like, that's more like casual MMO. Kind of like how DC Universe was, right? Like, it's more casual MMO. It's not like World of Warcraft or like the games that are meant for like PC, but like 45 key bindings, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's more so like why I was so interested in New World, and why I'm still considering playing it. Yeah. And I probably will for sure play it if they had controller support.
Yeah.
Like, that clearly that game was meant for them to like, they clearly were considering controller support when they made this game.
Yeah, which they said that they weren't trying to port anything to console.
Yeah, they said they weren't trying to do console. It's like, that's so crazy, because like you have a great game that's perfect for it.
It is,
so why
Amazon,
not?
Though.
I know.
Luna. Like,
yeah.
It seems like they made
probably,
it so you could play it
that's
on Luna,
probably
and we're not putting
there
it
you
to
go.
the
That's
console.
probably exactly what it is, bro.
Yeah,
they had Luna in mind. Yeah. And they know Luna is a controller based thing that they made.
If you want to play this bitch, hey, buy this Luna controller.
Yeah, you're exactly right. They were considering Luna.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, that's because it's obvious. Yeah. It's obvious. They made it non-clickable. It's manual targeting, and it's like 4 or 5 abilities. Like, it's clearly obvious. Yeah, meant to be.
It's smooth for a controller.
It's smooth for a controller.
Play on them controllers. You gotta play on my shit.
On them controllers, exactly.
Yeah,
that's cool, man.
Yeah, so that's all I played. So enough of all of the games we've played and whatnot, and maybe you guys can tell us what you've been playing down below in the comments. You know,
a little bit of a drought right now, right? What y'all playing? You know?
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely found myself going and playing like older games.
Yeah, because there's not a lot to
come out because I haven't really had too many of the newer games. I was like this close to playing Legions, but then I played Let It Die. So you know what I mean. The Let It Die's been out for a cool minute.
You're gonna like Legions, man. I'm surprised you haven't jumped on that yet. Just grab yourself a construction worker and have fun.
It's like this. You know, I don't know if you've ever gotten it, but sometimes you get like a dread in the back of your head that this game might not be.
I do, man. I know exactly what you're talking about,
and I don't want to be disappointed.
Yeah,
you know that I bought this game. I don't want to be disappointed. I don't know why I bought that shit. I think I saw it on a damn. It was a deal, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna just get that." It was PS5. I'm like, "Oh, I'll get a PS5 game." You know, stock my library up.
I think you're gonna like it, but like I kind of been like a little block like that with Cyberpunk because like I've been kind of wanting to play Cyberpunk, but I just keep not playing it because I'm a little worried.
Not gonna give you a dread, though.
Well, I'm a little worried that I'm gonna like run into bugs. I'm gonna be annoyed, so I keep kind of just waiting around for it to like be fixed. Even though like I kind of want to play it.
I feel like they're never gonna fix that bitch. So it's almost like you should just play it and get it over with at this point. I'm about that close to playing it. And
I'm really close, but I heard that they are planning a soft relaunch this holiday season. So I'm hoping that's the PS5 legit shiz. But you know,
it needs to be.
I'm ready.
I mean, that's what I've been waiting.
I'm ready to play it, man.
So damn long. It's kind of like, what am I doing here?
I know.
I might as well just play the game, enjoy how it is, and get on.
Especially with the drought right now,
right?
right?
Me fucking wait. You know what I mean? It's like a year plus past its release. So, come on, man.
I hear you.
But yeah. So on to the quick shots. The first topic we have is it's an Xbox game. Games. Basically there was a conversation that was on I think it's Kind of Funny podcast or something like that. They were talking about it on their channel, and they were talking to who's the freaking exec? Phil Spencer. I don't know why I had a brain fire. I was saying Sean Layden. I'm still on PlayStation. Yeah. But yeah, so Phil Spencer, they were talking to him, and they were asking about Fable, Avowed, Elder Scrolls 6, and he basically was explaining that Elder Scrolls 6 was not coming out anytime soon, and if it was to come out, it would be well after, and when it does come out, it will be well after Fable and even Avowed. So, you know, I thought, you know, we both thought that this was kind of interesting, right? Because, as, you know, Fable, we heard Fable, we didn't know exactly how long it had been in the workings of it. It just kind of popped up out of nowhere. I've always been hoping and dreaming and praying at night, waiting for new Fable news. But, you know, and then I finally got it. You know, my prayers were answered by the game gods. But as far as, like, Elder Scrolls 6, like, I mean, you know, Fable and Skyrim, they're like, a year apart or something like that from each other?
Fable and Skyrim when they released.
Yeah.
The last Fable game to come out was 2010.
Uh-huh.
And then Skyrim came out 2011.
Okay, yeah. So it's been like a long-ass time since both of those games came out. But you would think because of how large Bethesda is that Elder Scrolls 6 would be more so in the works than Fable, which is an IP that was run by Lionshead.
Right, and that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah,
right.
They don't even exist. So you've got a whole new company like Playground, which is taking that over.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, like the Lionhead dudes just got back together and like, oh, we're going to create another Fable. It's like, nah, that shit it doesn't exist anymore.
Exactly.
It's, you know, it's a whole new developer, you know, making this. So they're pretty much doing this from the ground up.
And they just kind of like recently got this gig.
I think,
right?
I don't know exactly.
Because, well, they've only ever been working on Horizon, Forza games.
Forza Horizon, yeah.
And now they revealed Fable. And it's like, that just feels like, because it was just like a announcement of the game, that just feels like when they announced it, they had just recently decided to make this a game.
Yeah,
Fable.
But wasn't that like a pretty polished little like 5-second clip that they gave us? It was beautiful, man. There was the fairies and shit and frogs with crowns and different things like that. Like this, we're not talking about no basic bitch ass like, you know, gameplay trailer or no trailer. You know what I'm saying? Like that. But there was
zero about the game. You know, like it was just literally.
It was zero, but it was like everything. Like everything you could want in a game, it had it in there. Okay. Just in that trailer.
Yeah.
Even though it showed nothing, like it was everything. So I mean, I was super stoked the moment that I saw like the fucking fairy flying around.
That was it, man. Like it's everything I ever wanted.
My heart was stolen.
Everything I ever wanted in the game, right there.
Yeah, and then when
I
the
saw frog, and it was like, oh, this is over.
Yeah, when I saw the name, I was just like, oh, this is a fucking wrap. Like, every game is dead this year. Whatever year that shit comes out, they're dead to me. It's just all about Fable.
I'm just saying, man, like, clearly it was a new decision. Where Elder Scrolls has been around, it's not no new decision. Like, you know you're going to be making the next Elder Scrolls. We all saw how successful Skyrim was. It was so damn successful. They made it for refrigerators and dishwashers.
Right. Yeah, mom probably know about
my mom probably know about Elder Scrolls. Yeah. And so that's what's most bizarre, because Elder Scrolls came out in 2011. Elder Scrolls 5, Skyrim,
Right.
and we're thinking 2026, like at the soonest, probably, or like around 2026. They mentioned 2024,
2026,
but 2026 is
time away though.
That's 15 years since Skyrim. That's nuts to me.
But they've been making like so many damn editions of Skyrim that I could see why this shit's postponed. Like they had a VR version, they had like the deluxe, the Uber deluxe, like they had like all these different versions that they were dropping them on. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, but I'm just saying that 15 years is a long time between sequels.
It is.
That's ridiculous.
But 10 years is a long time, you know, from seeing Fable. You know
yeah, it is. But the only difference between the two, in my opinion, is because Lionhead Studios like this, they're gone. Like it kind of fell off the map. Like Elder Scrolls has never fallen off the map. Like I would think, like once you released 5. You know, you have 6 in the works, kind of.
But remember, they also had actually
scheduled at least.
You have to include Elder Scrolls Online. So you have.
No, we've already went over this on a previous video. That's a separate entire development team. Yeah.
Okay.
Right, it's a whole different team.
Yeah.
Making the online version. So like because we talked about this before, what's going on, and that was what we discovered.
Right.
And so like you look at these games that Bethesda Softworks, like the ones that make Fallout and Elder Scrolls.
Right.
They have like these long gaps in between releases. Now, I wouldn't expect Fable before Elder Scrolls, but that's what we're going to be getting. So that's what was more.
I would demand Fable before Elder Scrolls.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I hear you there, man.
Yeah.
Like, but I'm just like when I saw that news, I was like, dang, that means Fable's closer. That's just nuts to me because Elder Scrolls. We should have already kind of been expecting Elder Scrolls 5 years ago.
Yeah.
A 10-year wait, you know?
How about even Avowed, though, right? Because Avowed was mentioned like a long-ass time ago, right?
Avowed, that's what I was trying to look up, man, and I'm showing 2020.
2020
they revealed
is when they
it.
showed Avowed? We didn't get like no inklings of it a while back?
Nah, I don't think we got any inklings of it. And that was also just a reveal trailer, too, like no gameplay.
Yeah.
Xbox's MO, they just give you like a little reveal trailer that isn't gameplay at all. So hearing that that's coming before Elder Scrolls 6 too is just like, it's just crazy, man.
But I mean, if you think about like how large Skyrim was, right? And if Bethesda is going to keep making these large worlds, Fallout, things like that, like Elder Scrolls 6 has got to be huge as fuck. Like it's just got to be big as shit. And what if they're going to like, I don't know, what if Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be like, similar to like Elder Scrolls Online type shit, where it's like this, this service where they just keep upgrading it and updating it.
I'm sure they will be doing that. And I know that they're big games, but they've always been able to release them relatively in a timely manner in the past.
Yeah.
So the idea is like, why is it taking 15 plus years now to bring out the next one? That seems very excessive to me.
Yeah, and then you also have whatever Starfield has been demanding from them.
Right, and so Starfield's been what they've been working on primarily, and then they have probably a little team working on 76 occasionally. So, like, it's just, I don't know. I think part of it is, like, with 76, they're making quite a bit of money on the shop. They've made so much money on reselling Skyrim 5 over and over and over again. So there's no incentive to make 6.
Yeah,
there's just no reason to make 6 because people are just going to keep rebuying 5. Right. Why even bother? It's still nuts to hear that Avowed and Fable, 2 games that didn't even exist, really, are going to be launching. And according to Phil Spencer, like, well before Elder Scrolls even like hits the market. He said like both these games will be released and running out in the public long before Elder Scrolls 6 even comes to the front of the table,
Right. So I mean, when you talk about like Xbox games and then you mention like Elder Scrolls 6 and Avowed, but then you mentioned Fable. I could give a fuck about all those other games. I just want to know about Fable. So really, I don't give a shit when Elder Scrolls 6 comes out. I just want to know when Fable comes out.
Well, you got good news, man. Like it's coming out before Elder Scrolls 6.
Fable coming. That's what I want to see. Fucking spam that shit. Then go and tweet that shit to fucking Xbox. When is Fable coming out? Playground 2, man. Hit them all up. Tag them all.
What's your guess on it, anyways?
What, when Fable's coming out?
Yeah, I'm saying 2023. Maybe
I could see like 2023, maybe even like early 2024.
Yeah,
because I don't know.
I could see that too.
I feel like it's a reimagining of Fable, right? So
it's like a remake.
Yeah, and then you got all new people doing it, so they know what Fable is.
Or
but
reboot,
they have none
right?
of
It's
the
like a
stuff.
reboot. It's worse than a remake.
Right.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you're taking something that, as you might say, didn't do so good for like the third edition or whatever, and you're trying to reimagine it, you might want to like put like, you might want to go for the gusto on that one because you're bringing this title back from the dead essentially.
Right.
So, you might be wanting to put like your best foot forward.
Right.
Especially if you've only been working on car games, racing games, and you got a chance to do something else. They might have been like, "Hey, man, Phil, bruh, let me just make a new game, man. Let me make something else. I know you've been loving this Forza shit, but I need a break, dog." Like,
dude, I think us Xbox players need a break, man.
Yeah.
Like we keep getting. That's Xbox. Forza, Halo, Gears. Forza, Halo, Gears. Forza, Halo, Gears. And it's like, come on. I want a break from those two. Give me something new. And so, like, yeah, I'm sure they are excited. And, like, they announced it in 2020, so they're probably kind of started working, at least design phase 2020.
Yeah.
They're probably working on it right now in 21. Give them all of next year. And then probably, like, 2023, we'll see some reveal and maybe a date.
Yeah.
I
mean, as much as as many times as we've played this game with Xbox, right? A lot of times they have a lot done. They just don't want to show us the gameplay.
They don't ever show
always
gameplay,
just show
man.
us a trailer.
Ever.
But they be having like alphas and shit ready. You know what I mean? So it's just a matter of time when they show us. And I'm honestly, I would much rather just hear about it and not see anything announced about it until it's like really ready to go. And then it's like, 10 months from now, it's coming out. So that way we don't have all these pushbacks and different things like that. But you know what I mean? I'm okay with like not seeing like, the gameplay and stuff like that. Like, even if they gave me verbal updates on Twitter every month.
And please don't give me a date until you can meet that date.
For sure.
That's my opinion, man.
Yeah, I don't want the date and then for you guys to push it back again.
I hate that. I hate that, man. Just don't give me the date.
Yeah.
I don't care if you have to wait a year longer before you tell me the date. Tell me a date that you can meet.
Right. Yeah, but on to the next quick shot, XDefiant, right? So that game is coming out very soon, and they've got like some pretty interesting NDA news that like just popped up, and basically it's this article from MP First, and it was stating that there was some lines in the contract or whatever that you have to sign when you get to test this game out that says, if I participate to the test in a room with a window, I have to keep the curtains closed. And then there's another line that says, I participate to the test alone. I will not invite anyone, including family members, to my session. So they literally want this shit like tight niched. The fact that you gotta even remember to close your your curtains and shit. I'm like, who's gonna even know you really testing it?
That's
like
hilarious, dude.
You know what I mean? At this point, they gonna ask you to turn your camera on so they can just observe you the whole time while you're playing. If you talk to any fucking body in that room, it's a wrap for you. You know what I mean? Like,
what are they building the SR-71 bomber, dude? Like, my uncle, dude, he works for Northrop too, I think, or you work for Northrop, right?
Yeah.
He works for Northrop, and because it's aerospace, right?
Right.
And so he was building the black the SR-71 stealth bomber. The broken wing.
Got you.
He wasn't even allowed to tell his wife a single thing about it.
We not allowed.
He couldn't say like. Well, on this one particularly, like he couldn't even say like he was working. Anything?
Yeah. Well, I mean that's how classified goes.
But I mean it's like that's what this sounds like.
Yeah.
This almost sounds worse.
This is
I don't
government
think my
sanctioned,
I don't think my uncle,
top secret.
I think my uncle was allowed to have his curtains open.
But he probably wasn't working from home with that shit either, though. He probably had to go in. And for that.
It's just cracking me up, man. Like, make sure you have your curtains closed. How the heck are they, for one, even enforcing a rule like that?
Yeah, but my main question would be like, bro, you really think that like people know I'm like testing the shit, right? Because I'm pretty
know.
sure in the NDA it say I can't tell you I'm testing.
Well, like exactly. Like, let's say I have my window open and my neighbor has a 2-story building, and they glance. They ain't have a clue what the heck I'm playing at.
Oh shit, that's excellent. Like they peek into the window.
That one there is XDefiant.
It just so happened my neighbor had a telescope. He pointed it right down and looked right in my window, and then he had the ability to record everything through the lens.
Funny, dude.
So, you know, it's a wrap after that. But
I mean, what are they hiding? Like, we already saw like the gameplay. We already know what this thing is about. Like,
I don't know. The only thing they could possibly be hiding is that it's ass. I don't know. Like, what is there that you didn't show me?
We don't want anyone else to know this is bad.
Yeah, shit glitching all left and right, heads turning out square and stuff like that. Like,
like
what is it that
cyberpunk
you
thing?
could possibly be seeing in this testing that they didn't show? You know, in the gameplay trailer. Like, they gave us gameplay in the trailer. So,
right.
I don't know. But that's interesting. I would love to test a game. So, if one of y'all watching know somebody, a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend who got a game or, you know, is working on a game or something, or you just want us to try it out, I'll sign an NDA. I'll close my blinds and shit. Like, I'll play blindfolded if y'all want. I'm just trying to check it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really can't give no feedback like that.
I'll play the mute if I got to.
I can't listen to the music on the game. I'll turn it down. I got you.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Dude,
but,
that's so funny.
I definitely want to see like an NDA. I want to see like a real life NDA so I can just look at what the type of shit is like normal that they be requesting. I don't think that's normal.
Dude, like, no, I totally understand. Like, you play by yourself because you signed up for it.
Right.
Don't let no one else. I get that, but the curtain one is what has me dying.
I'm playing it and I signed the NDA, but you in the room with me, you free to speak about this shit all you want. I heard from a source, you know, blah 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 blah.
Right, but no, but I see how like in the agreement how they would say that.
Right.
The second one here, I will not invite anyone to my session. Like, that I get. Yeah. Seems like a normal NDA, but the curtain one is what has me busting.
Yeah.
I have to remember to shut my curtain when it's like funny to me, dude. Like going to a box, going to your closet and play this. It's like, what the heck? Hey, that's a crack up, man. Yeah. That had me dying.
But on to the next quick shot we've got. So we basically just gonna talk about some of the games that are coming out this month for Xbox Game Pass. Anthony, I know you don't give a shit about Xbox Game Pass, so you can go ahead and skip to the next portion. But
this is time stamped.
Game Pass, yeah, this would be time stamped. So go ahead, click that, and then go to the next one. So like you had mentioned before, Curse of the Dead Gods, which is Dead Cells-ish. That one came out already. It was released on the 5th of August. Dodgeball Academia, if you want to get up with Ray on that one, that's also already out. Katamari Damacy.
Katamari Damacy reroll.
That one's out.
You know, that's the one where you roll the ball around and you collect junk. You know, remember playing that one back in the day on the PlayStation?
Nah, I've heard of Katamari, but
Katamari. Basically, you have like a little ball, and like you roll it like a snowball. And you know how a snowball, as you're rolling in the snow, collects more slow. That's what this is. The ball gets bigger and bigger, and you're like collecting. It's kind of like a puzzle.
Okay, so it might
people
be like a
it.
little BS game.
Yeah, people really like Katamari. Like, it's been pretty popular. It's fine.
So they got Luminous remastered. So that's an old game.
Right.
That they've improved the graphics on there. That one's out already. Skate and Skate 3, both of those are out. One's for the console. Skate is for the console, and Skate 3 is for the cloud. Those are both EA Play games, so I'm assuming that probably Skate 3 has already been out for the console.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just releasing it for the cloud now.
Yeah, people really love Skate 3. That was like a big deal one.
Yeah.
So hop on that if you like skateboarding. People Skate 3 like love it.
Starmancer, that was another one that you had mentioned. Man. That one's August 5th.
That's PC only.
Right. Then we got Art of the Rally, which would come out later this week. And I don't know much about that.
That's like a little isometric like rally car racer.
Okay.
So like you have a little tiny dude, a little car, and it's like top down. You're like racing a rally, and it's like an indie. Okay. So it's like pixel art and stuff. Okay. I don't know. It looks cool. It looks fun. It's probably it says you have beginner friendly options. People are really looking forward to this one too. That's another Xbox at ID. Like these Xbox at ID games are like really solid. Like these are the ones that like Xbox has really like
been pushing,
helping fund and create. So like the Xbox at ID ones are dope. Like you can see like Curse of the Dead God is not Xbox at ID.
No, but Dodgeball
Dodgeball is right. Yeah. So like these Xbox at ID ones, like these are the ones Xbox believed in. Xbox really believed in these games.
Gotcha.
And so I would check it out. It's free. And Starmancer is going to be people really been looking forward to Starmancer.
Right. So then you got Hades.
And that's all we need to talk about, man.
This week, August 13th. We'll just stop right there. So then there's also for the week after, it's Microsoft Solitaire collection. Hey, get that shit if you want it. It's on PC. You do know that you got a free solitary game on the PC, right? They still do that, right?
I think so.
Yeah. I'm old, so they used to do that shit. 12 minutes, never heard of it, but that one's August 19th. So
dude, 12 minutes, dude, is going to be sick.
You think so?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
There's lots of hype around 12 minutes. Basically, it's a time loop game.
Okay.
So you play in like only like a single room.
It's
like a top-down, like an indie game.
Like Escape Room?
Kind of like Escape Room.
Okay.
But it's a small room, like an apartment building. And it's like a one-room apartment. And like I think a murder happens or something like that, and you replay like the 12 minutes over and over again.
What? I think I did see something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like that one's gonna be sick, man.
And then of course you got Psychonauts 2, and that one's on the 25th. So that one's like way down the line.
That's at the end of this month, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean that's like, it's like, it's about 2 weeks away. 2 weeks and some change away on a Wednesday. So. That's an interesting release date. But I have seen a lot of people that were testing that out and stuff like that. So, I mean, it looked just like the older games. So it wasn't really much of a graphical improvement on that. But it's indie. So.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, though.
But, yeah, so that's it for all of the Xbox Game Pass games. And for the last quick shot, Halo Infinite, right? Who gives a fuck, right? But they actually had a leak of their storyline, the whole plot line for this thing. And I mean, like, it ain't just like, oh, some of this shit happened and that stuff happened. It's literally like the whole entire script on the thing has been leaked.
The whole plot.
So what we're going to do is we're going to read the first 40 lines for you.
Yeah, we got you.
So if you don't want spoilers or whatever, just click the next timestamp. So go ahead. What do they got?
All right, here we go. So starting with opening scene.
So we're not actually gonna read this shit because, like we said, who gives a fuck, right? But
we ain't gonna spoil it for you here.
Yeah. So it is leaked. That sucks for them. But
they came out and literally admitted it.
Yeah.
Because they had the beta whatever launch. We talked about it last week, the preview on Halo, and they left
the multiplayer, right?
Yeah. They locked it. You couldn't play it. They locked you out, but they left it all, the files all in there.
So, of course,
and
somebody
data might hit. They have the whole plot, and it exists. I'm literally looking at it right now. It's like, so and so happens. Maybe this happens. It's like literally like the script pretty much, and it's like, geez, Louise, that's a crazy f up. Yeah. This is like worse than The Last of Us 2. But, when The Last of Us 2 leak happened, everyone like lost their cool.
Yeah.
Like this is like even worse than that. This is like the whole thing.
But I would say there's like a silver lining to this leak, right? So you can literally just go on here and click it. I mean, if you guys really want, we can give you the link down there in the description. Just say, hey, I want that link to the script, and we'll put it on there for you.
If you want it,
Google it yourself, but it's very Googleable. That is a word, I think, Googleable. But anyways, the silver lining to this is that, let's say, you got Game Pass or whatever, right? And even if you don't, I think the multiplayer is for free $99, and it comes out before the actual campaign does, right? So you can technically read this and just see if it's ass or not, and whether you want to waste time even playing the main campaign, or if you just want to stick to the multiplayer and get that much of a feel for Halo. So that's like the good thing. Like I might give it a skim through just to see if it's ass, or if it's like decent enough that I'll stop because I like where it's headed, and then I'll just wait for it to come out. So that's why I say
I'm not doing it, man. I'm not reading it.
You're not gonna spoil it?
Nah, it's like you said, it's free on Game Pass, man. I'm gonna play it. I'm not gonna see if it's
I don't know if I really want to waste my time with it. Y'all can tell us down in the descriptions below, down in the comments, let us know if you actually want to waste your time and you will not even participate in this tomfoolery of looking at this script. or whatever.
You ain't touching it.
But enough of all that shit, right? That's the end of the quick shots. Let's get into some of the main topics. So the first one we got is PS5. And, of course, the PS5 is awesome. We know that, right? But basically, they've got an accomplishment that they've done, right? So now they're no longer selling the PS5 Disc Version at a loss. So that's a good thing. I mean, the majority of both of these consoles, the Xbox Series X and the PS5, have been selling their consoles at a loss because they're trying to get people into it. It's a new, edition or whatever. But, PlayStation has finally been able to, I guess, reach how much they've put into this, and now they're starting to get some back on these.
Yeah,
now, the digital is still selling at a loss, right?
Yeah, we talked about this a long time ago.
They had to be, right? Because of what's in it. They had to be selling.
We've talked about this quite a bit. We thought possibly the PS5 was not selling for a loss because we always were like, okay, if the digital's $400 and the disc is $500, we know for certain.
A whole $100 for $50, and that ain't
disc.
The disc drive.
Yeah, there's no way the disc drive in and of itself, that one component, is $100.
Right.
Because they just popped these off the assembly line. This has got to be probably at $50 at most, probably 40. So I was thinking, we were thinking,
you gotta think bulk, man, probably 25.
Yeah, we were thinking bulk. Like we were thinking, like there's just no way that the PS5 is really a huge lot. There's no way it's $100 more for that.
Right.
So we were thinking maybe they're making money on the PS5 disc. Well, come to find out they weren't. They were selling that at a loss, which means we know for certain they were selling the digital at a loss. And now we've learned that they're still selling the digital at a loss. Only the disc edition has finally become profitable. And I think so. We were dead right. That means that disc is not really worth a whole lot.
No.
Because it's worth $100 more. So that means whatever was costing them a lot has come down.
Yeah.
But not enough, right, to offset like the digital edition. Because really, in all actuality, there really is almost nothing different between the disc and digital.
No,
except
it's literally
the
just
disc.
that optical drive. Yeah.
Everything else is the same. And so it makes sense that like the $100 is a big leap, right? That's a lot of component value.
Right.
Because you have to, bridge that $100 gap. So it makes sense that the disc edition is finally profitable and the digital isn't. But of course, like we were also saying and speculating, was that they are being sold at a loss to manufacture, but it's being offset by their margin-rich software and hardware sales, of course, like with digital. Because on a digital, you buy everything digital. So that's very margin-rich. Like they make the most off digital,
right? I'm going to sell you this console, at a loss to me, but you're going to have to buy the games, and you're getting them from me. So, that's gonna
exactly. Which is why I think they were fine. And which is why I think we can go back to our speculation. I honestly think Sony was expecting to sell the PS5 disc for $600 and the digital for $500.
Probably.
That's what I think they were doing until Microsoft, because they launched first,
do a little pivot.
And they had to pivot and take a larger loss. Like they're finally catching up now, slowly. They still haven't on the digital yet, but you can see that they probably never really intended to sell both of their consoles at losses. You know, because these things are mad powerful, man. Like that's lots of solid state drive they're giving you. These are massively expensive, CPUs, GPUs.
Right.
The hardware is hefty on these things, man. The Xbox too. Like I'd be curious to find out how much Xbox is losing on their Series X.
Yeah,
and
I'm sure
S.
it will pop out at some point soon, right?
Right.
They'll definitely declare when they are no longer selling at a loss or something like that. As soon as they catch a wind of this, oh shit, they talking? Like, oh no, we ain't selling at a loss either. You know what I mean? Or something like that. But
yeah, absolutely.
I think, but what I think is that this disc version finally being no longer sold at a loss, I think that the digital is right behind it, because like we're saying, like that disc drive, that optical drive is not that much more.
No, it's not.
So it can't, that extra $100 is just to counteract some of the blow for how much it's costing them. But I don't think that it's that much more. So I feel like they probably need like a couple more sales of some shit, and and the digitals will no longer be sold at a loss.
I think this is why we keep hearing all this news about like the smaller nano chip, how they're making the new digital. We talked about it, I think, last or the week before. The new lighter PS5 digital, PS5. And we were wondering why is it just focused on the digital? Like, why is the digital?
Why wouldn't it be on the disc?
Yeah, why not both? Well, obviously because that's the one they're struggling with.
Yeah,
that's the one that they're not able to get down below cost yet.
Right,
and they've done it on the disc already.
They're gonna change it on the disc, right? I think it's gonna
at some point in time they will, but there's not an urgency for it. There's urgency. They're like, come on, we're selling these things at a loss,
right?
Which is also why I think, well, I mentioned this before earlier, why I think that there wasn't a lot of digitals available at launch. Remember how like those are like really hard to find? You can find discs much easier than you can find the digital versions of them.
But at some point there was more possibilities for digital editions, and we were saying that they were trying to get out more of the digital just because it would give them more revenue on the back end.
Yes, they do want to sell digitals, I think, for their overall like we were talking about before, for their overall outlook.
Right.
Digitals are better, but we talked about this too. They want to make sure they get that below cost before they start to really push it. Right. And I think that's why, because when they first launched these things, they're like, let's hold off on these digitals for a minute because we're losing money on every one of these that we sell. Like if we can hold these back a bit, make them cheaper, get them below cost, then we can really push these guys out.
Yeah,
I remember reading a lot of people are like, gosh, I really want a digital version because all I can afford is $400 right now, and you just couldn't find them.
That's
like
suicide.
I
was telling one of my friends the other day, because they were thinking about getting their kid a PS5 or whatever, and I was like, just don't do the digital, just get the disc. Like it's like it's $100 more, and whatever your taxes is gonna be now. But you'll end up paying well over that 100 in the long term. You know what I mean?
Well over it.
Every
Thousands
game that
probably.
your kid might possibly want to get, like even if you was to get it now, right, and then they only played Fortnite for for the next 6 months, all of the games that come out, they're going to be old by the time that they decide that they don't want to play Fortnite anymore. They want to play a different game. And you'll be able to get those used.
PSN will keep them at the full price.
Right. Yeah, the PSN isn't going to drop. Or if it does drop, it's only going to be at certain points.
Very
like
rare.
A summer sale or like a holiday sale of some sort, but like random times during the year. And you got to buy it then or it's going right back up. You know what I mean? But like once you got an option for a disc, you can find that on OfferUp. You can find that on eBay. You can find that on.
You have
GameStop.
a million avenues.
You know what
like
I mean?
How did you find Demon Souls? How did you looked on OfferUp and you negotiated down really low,
right?
Or like you found that great deal for Legion, like. That's completely you close yourself off to that joy of having all those choices and options, and then if you want, you can even resell your software
and get some of that back
on the back end, which is what I like to do.
Right.
And so it's like, that's what like the recommendation is, like, because if let's say there was more competition in the digital marketplace, then maybe you could see yourself going digital, but there isn't. You're stuck in a monopoly. Like Sony has you by the nuts, like you ain't going anywhere. You're trying to move and you're just you can't do nothing because there's nowhere else to go.
Right.
Which is why they had that lawsuit. But that's why I strongly advise. It's a little different for Microsoft. If you're doing Game Pass, then I can see an argument to be made for like the Series S.
Yeah.
But still, I would still recommend going with the disc version on even the Xbox because I even bought a disc. And
we were talking about the expansion. You know what I mean? Just getting more.
The hard drive is enough.
You've got a huge amount chalked off just by getting the S. And if you ever wanted to get an upgrade, there's only one upgrade, and it's $220.
Exactly.
You might as well just pay the $200 or whatever, the extra $200 to get the one with the disc. And you'd never have to worry about that. Yeah, as far as the other games, as far as like game access and stuff like that, there's many avenues.
The arguments are different for both systems, right? Yeah, the argument for why you buy a disc version of PS5 is different than the argument why you buy the disc version for the S, for the X and S. Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But both arguments are still buy the better one.
Yeah, and I mean, Xbox has a little bit more leeway, right? Because if you're totally okay with just deleting, more times, more often. You know what I mean? Because you might be able to get just like, 2 or 3 games on at a time, depending on how big they are. But if you're okay with deleting them because like you play games till you beat them and then you move on and you're never going to play that game again, then by all means just stick with the S, and work with that. Right. But if you were ever contemplating, hey, I might want to expand my my storage to get more, or just get that 1 terabyte. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, and like I think you'd really be like kicking yourself, right? Like if you bought the S and you thought, nah, I'll never expand it. 2 years come along, 3 years come down the road, and you're like, gosh, man, I really kind of wish I had more space. And you end up going and buying that card, you'll kind of be kicking yourself. Because you'll be like, gosh, now I've spent more money in the long run than I would have had I just bought the X to begin with.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it kind of situation. Right. Like I would just really, I would jump to the 500 and you'll be happy for the whole life cycle of this generation.
For sure. And then some more news about PS5 was that it seems like their number of subscriptions for PS Plus has gone down like a huge amount.
Pretty big.
Yeah, it's pretty great. But there's also
in like 1 quarter.
Right, but there's also a logical reason for this. I mean, at the start of COVID,
they lost
1.3 million
subscribers.
Yeah,
have unsubbed from PS Plus.
But I mean, it's like, okay, there was a large influx of PS Plus subscribers once COVID hit and everybody was locked down, right? They had the play at home initiative. Gamepass was on a ramp up, with putting more games out there, giving people reasons or things to do instead of going stir crazy when they're in the house. You know what I mean? So I could see how those 3-month subscriptions or whatever would start to increase tenfold. You know what I mean? Because everybody's at home and you got mad free games to play and things like that. But as COVID is technically gone down, on the Legiancy, there's more people getting vaccinated and things like that, so they're trying to open up more or whatever and give people breathing room. People got to go back to work, so you got less time to play. So then, it's like, oh, that 3-month subscription, like, or that 1-month subscription I was getting, I don't need that right now because I'm not playing as much. So it's gone down. They did say, and this was an article that we read off of Gamerant that was talking about this, but they did say that the people were still keeping their eye on the PlayStation Plus subscriptions. The only thing that I could hope good would come out of this is that they try to ramp up the value more of the PlayStation Plus
to recapture those subs again,
right? Yeah. To get a buzz back and get some of those people who might have just like gone off of it, because I think I've talked to Brahms about this a couple of times and he's like almost ready for his PlayStation Plus to lapse, just because he found out that there's certain games that you can play without actually having PlayStation Plus, even though you got them through PlayStation Plus.
The multiplayer games, right?
I think it was like that
online
like,
games.
I think some of the games like Days Gone or some of the ones that they just gave you for free, like it didn't require you to have PlayStation Plus on it, so you could still play it.
Oh,
like even if you weren't signed in or something like that. So I think he's banking on that. So I hope it still works out for him if he does let it lapse. But I mean, really, like for me, it's kind of like, I just wait on a deal for the PlayStation Plus subscription to pay like $30 or 36, 30, around $40. And then, you got it for a whole year. So you never have to worry about it. It's definitely not as taxing as it is for like Game Pass.
That's what I was going to say. Like, I do think a lot of people don't realize that you can find a subscription to PS Plus for really cheap.
Right.
I think they just go to the PSN and they see a 3-month deal. I'll do that right now since I'm home off work, and I'll play these free games on the collection or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And then, like, you're right. I think, like, okay, I'm going back. I do think that that's a big part of it. I think that a lot of people were at home, and so you saw this spike. Because if you look quarter over quarter, so if you look at previous year's quarter before COVID really hit,
right,
they're still up from there. So they lost like 1.5 million people almost, and they're still up from quarter over quarter, so pre-COVID. So clearly COVID had an impact. They got a boost from COVID.
For sure.
But I do think that people, if they realize that you can buy a whole year for like $30-something bucks, it's totally worth it. Like, even if you can't play as much as you were playing, like, it's still totally worth it because you're gonna get all those free games for the whole year.
Yeah,
and it's $30. So it's like, I just think, like, look for the deals. We always, whenever we find them, we throw them to each other. Like, whenever we find deals, we mention them to each other, and like, we're always looking when it's time to re-up. It's like, hey, you find a deal? Yeah, here's one for $35. It's like, cool, a whole year for $30. But I also do think, like, when people are examining their subscription list, because we all have them. I got Disney Plus, I got Netflix. Which one of these am I getting rid of? Right? I'm not going to be at home as much to watch these. Which one of these? I think PS Plus is considered a little bit more of a luxury than like Netflix. Netflix is becoming more of like a staple.
I mean,
than like a
especially
bonus.
if you don't have like cable or
if you don't have cable, like
anything,
Netflix is like a staple.
Yeah.
Where like PS Plus is like, that's like just a luxury. It's like a bonus, right? Like, that's just kind of like a cherry on top. I don't really need this.
Right.
And I think when you're examining all your subscription services, PlayStation's at the bottom, and that's the first one to go. But it's still so cheap.
It's still cheaper than
it
all
is.
of them.
It's still
like,
so cheap.
Even if you got like the lowest Netflix subscription or the lowest Disney Plus subscription, you're still paying less. You can pay less. Even if you didn't find a deal, if you paid the $50, you're still paying less than what it would accumulate to at the end of the year for you paying for that Disney Plus.
Absolutely, which is why I think more people need to get the word out there that you can find deals on these whole year subscription things.
Yeah, and if that's something you guys want, if we see the deals or whatever, you know what I mean, and we've possibly used them or something like that, we can drop links down in the videos if that's what you guys want. Because I've purchased many of them from like eBay or just like random sites where I was just like, I've never heard of this fucking site, but it's selling this shit for like $30.
Exactly.
That's a damn good deal.
And they just email you the
Let
code.
Me Google, like, is this site legit? Like,
Yeah.
okay, I get pluses. All right, then I'm just gonna buy from it and see how it goes. But most of it's like digital. You wait like maybe an hour and you got it. You know what I mean? Or even quicker than that. So,
exactly. That's how I do it. Or Black Friday come around, I find lots of good deals on Black Friday. Dude. $30.
I've just realized that, like, if you look at the grand scheme of things, right? Even if you were to try to compare it, like, an Xbox Gamepass subscription to a PlayStation Plus subscription, you're getting way more bang for your buck on a PlayStation Plus subscription.
You are, really, you are.
Xbox. I mean, yeah, like, you're paying $15 a month for this Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription, and you have a shitload of games to, like, play and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, like,
$30,
you're not really, like, playing all of them. You're
right?
Playing some of them, but if you stop, you don't have those games anymore. But PlayStation Plus is allowing you to have all of those games. I mean, obviously, you won't be able to play them if you don't have the PlayStation Plus subscription. But if, like, down the line you were like, oh, let me renew my PlayStation Plus subscription again.
Right.
I got a little extra bread. Let me splurge. All those games are now playable. And so, like, as long as you kept adding on the catalog, it just, you can come back to it at any point in time. And as long as you can sign in, it's still yours. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and there's like
comes in and it goes.
There's always like something new, even for someone like us or like hardcore gamers. It always seems like every month that they announce the new games for the month, like at least one of them is new. I haven't played.
Yeah.
And they're relatively recent games. Like, even the most recent one had that Hunter's Arena Legends. Like, that one looks pretty cool. And that's brand new day one. Right? Yeah, PS5 day one.
Right.
And I'm thinking to myself, like, if that's all I had was my PS Plus subscription, I didn't have Game Pass or whatever, I got something to play every month. Every month I have something new to play. And it's like you're saying, I do. I think I agree with you. While, like, on paper, it looks like the Game Pass is just like trouncing the PS Plus as far as value.
Yeah.
But in reality, $30, you're getting games that you're going to be playing that lines up more with reality. Yeah, like lines up with what you can actually fit into a month. Yeah. Right?
And if you're paying, if you're getting, like, let's say you do like lowest price scenario, right? Like $7. That's $21 of worth of games each month. that you're getting, and you paid like $30 for it, or you paid $50 for it. 3
even
months,
if you paid the full 50, right?
Yeah,
even if you paid the full 50, you're loving the deal you're getting.
Yeah,
you know.
Now with Game Pass, you have to make sure that you play like a large number of the games.
Make sure you play a couple games every month. Make sure you do.
15, you know what I mean, and that 15 is hefty. But
exactly.
So I understand people, not wanting to get the Game Pass or whatever, or get the Game Pass Ultimate or something like that, but it's just like, damn, I might reduce my Game Pass
to just console,
to just the console only, because like I thought about that too. Using the fucking cloud. Like,
I don't use the cloud. I got the Ultimate because I intended to really be using the cloud, and once I tried it, I wasn't happy with it.
Well, I had also got the Ultimate because you could do like the console cloud and then possibly PC.
And we did try some PC game nights with WLG, but for the most part, I stick to the console.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10,
Right. So I mean, but I've got mine's locked in because I chose to get the little payment plan for the Xbox Series X.
Because you get a deal on the console.
Two
you're going to end up paying less on your console in the end for that.
Yeah.
So that's like the great deal, which I wanted to do that, but I just like couldn't find it. But I think when your time is up, like switching to like the 10.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely switch to the lower one because I definitely don't use the cloud. And honestly, the remote play on the console has been working beautifully. Like I literally will have like my iPad and a PlayStation 4 controller, and then I'll just sign in, hook my iPad up to my phone, or if you got, the cell service iPad, the 5G iPad or whatever, you could do that. And then you just sign in, turn on your console, and then play from your console. And as long as you got like 3 good bars, you're able to play
from console to that.
Yeah.
And that's what you do, because you probably go out in the living room or whatever.
Cloud
right? Yeah.
Has ever been.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do the cloud, but that makes a lot more sense. Yeah, because you're just going over your own internet so your console's doing all the heavy lifting, which is what we want.
Right.
But you can go to another room, right?
Yeah, and you're just hoping that your signal is good enough so that it's not lag or anything like that. Because it can't hit you. But like I said, if you got like 4 bars, 3-4 bars, you playing good.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's no problems on it. So
yeah.
But yeah, so that's it for that one. So let's move on to some more PlayStation talk, right? But PSVR 2, we've been hearing a lot of ramped up talk about the PSVR 2, almost as if it's coming out in the next couple of weeks. It sure shit isn't, but there was a lot.
Yeah, we've heard a lot about something that's never been revealed.
Announced. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so this one comes off of the PS5 only Twitter account. So it was talking about the PSVR 2. It was stating that Sony was trying to focus more on AAA games working on the PSVR 2 and on flat TVs. Not sure exactly what that means though. But they were trying to move away from separate VR experiences, which was exactly one of my biggest gripes about why the VR could not succeed, why it didn't have the longevity, or doesn't have the longevity that it needs. You know what I mean? People think it's a gimmick because you have to get PSVR only games for it, or you just, there's games for it, but they're just, they're literally like rinky-dink games,
and they're dumbed down. They're not what they don't. It doesn't not what you want to play on it,
right? But the fact, and then you can play anything on the PSVR headset, but it's in theater mode. So you know what I mean? You could play Sekiro, or you could play God of War, and you're just looking at a smaller screen on your face. So I mean, that's like cool if your wife wants to take over or your significant other wants to take over the TV and you're still playing. But as far as like it being real VR experience, there isn't one like that for like those big games. That's why certain things like what was it, like Blood and Bones or something like that? It was like
Skull and Bones?
No, it was a VR
I know
game
you're talking
like
about.
Blood
I know
and
you're talking
Bones or
about.
something
Yeah,
like
I
that.
know what you're talking about.
But it's like games like that did like really well because they had like long stories and they were like full games. You know what I mean? Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners. Those are like full games. With like a lot of stuff to do. It's not just something where you just got to stand there and you shoot. You know what I mean? You're walking around, you're exploring,
or you're battling someone and you're picking up, putting the things out there to battle. Very simplistic, or just swiping at things flying by.
Right.
Yeah, like that's why when I saw like Medal of Honor. That one looked cool.
Right.
Because it's like, wow, this is a full fleshed out VR game designed for VR.
Right.
But the truth of the matter is And this is the point like we've been making, and this is the point that I think that we were trying to make with the Steam Deck too, and why I think the PS Vita failed. Like we were talking about this before. I felt the PS Vita failed because they always look at handhelds as like this separate console that you have to buy like separate games for. The Steam Deck says no, it isn't separate. It's just your PC. So whatever you can play on your PC, you can play on this. It's just another way, more unique, more utility. You can take it on the go if you want, or plug it into your television if you want.
If they had spent the time, instead of like, you know, for like PlayStation or Xbox even trying to make like a slim version of the same consoles that are already out, because it's just skinnier, and if you wanted to save more space you could do that. If they had spent that time trying to make it more mobile, then I think it would have been just as good. Or even
I agree.
better.
Like that's why I do think, like, in my opinion, I do believe that is the future. I mean, I've talked about this already with Steam Deck. I feel like the future of gaming is going to be these Switch style consoles. The reason why I didn't think Switch had set the standard was because Switch wasn't able to play all the games. All you could play is Nintendo games. They had the right idea for they were thinking in the sense of the future, where you can plug your Switch into your television and play on your 4K screen, or slip those controllers on and play mobile. That's the right idea. I think that is the future. But the Steam Deck really made it a reality, because they're like, hey, you have all those capabilities like the Nintendo Switch has, but you can play freaking Death Stranding, you know, in 60 FPS, right? Like on the go, or Days Gone, right? Like, or Horizon Forbidden West. Like you could play all these wonderful games on the freaking go. That's a game changer. That's the way we're going. And I think Sony, like, because it says here in this update, they're really focusing on trying to let the PSVR 2 play AAA games. And that's what you wanted. That's what we've all wanted from the start. It's an additional utility. Games, it's like an extra bonus. You know, if I buy this thing, it's another way to play the games I already know that I can play.
And if you think about it, like how hard should it be to make the PSVR usable on a game that's already first person?
I don't know. We've talked about this before. I don't know.
To change the controllers, like give it a new controller option. So that's it. You know, to be able to use the Move controllers or these new PSVR 2 controllers or whatever, to be able to use those to play the game instead of using your regular PS5 controller. That's literally should be the only thing you need to do, because you can see out of your eyes for the character. It should be everything you see there. So you just have to make that. That's it. Make that part portable, and you should be able to play any game.
That too, or just make it like an extra screen. So like you like Sony can go to the developers and say, hey, don't worry, we want you to have PSVR features too if you can, but to be honest, just make it so we can play on just like a separate screen, so that you can sit on the couch, throw your headset on. It's still more immersive. It's not as immersive as like you saying, like if you have like some controller supports and things, but it's still going to be much more immersive to put that thing on and look into the world like directly in your eyes. There's no peripheral. You're only seeing the world. And even if you're using the PlayStation 5 controller, like that sucks, but even if that's all you can do, let it have that functionality. Let the darn PSVR 2 have that function. Then I might consider buying it, because now I know that I can use it as often as I want or as little as I want. I'm not just like waiting for something to work on it, sitting around waiting, will this work or that work?
To whatever these developers decide, whichever these developers decide to put something specifically for this thing. You know what I mean?
You know, you can use it.
You can play everything. You know, it's good. It was cool because you know, I was on PS5 Only's thread or whatever, and they were showing some different stuff. You know, they're always posting about different things. But they posted this kid is like something Ginger or whatever. I can't remember the exact name of his channel. He does have a YouTube channel, but this kid basically took a PS2 and made it portable. He did that by, I mean, he did a lot of work on it, but
he got it.
He trimmed down the motherboard of the PS2, and then he added a bunch of the different parts that were cut off. He added those as like extra attachments on top of the motherboard and stuff like that, and he made it so it was literally a handheld that was able to play like all PS2 games. The only thing is that you had to use like a type of mod that lets you boot from the memory card instead of from like a disc or whatever, because you can't really fit an optical drive in there.
Right.
But yeah, it played like PS2 games and stuff beautifully or whatever, and it looked dope. Like if I had seen something like that come out, you know, where there was like another way for you to play like the PS2 games on the go, I definitely would have got that, you know, as opposed to like being forced to buy totally separate games like PS Vita games.
Exactly.
That I can't even.
That's always been the issue.
They tried to deal with it and help you out a little bit, right? By saying your PS Vita games that you bought digitally could be played on your PlayStation, but you know, you couldn't play
not
your PlayStation
the other way around.
on the Vita game.
The Vita games could be on the PlayStation, but the PlayStation games couldn't be on the Vita. Right. Or a select few could, like indies.
Right, and that was only if you bought it digitally. If you bought it physically,
right,
there's no putting it on the other system. So,
exactly.
You know, but at least you had that option if you wanted to get there. You know, and they did like a little bit of crossplay, but they really just dropped the ball. I mean, all of these have for that. You know, it's just not a good option. But yeah, so enough with the VR2.
And I'll just say one more thing about the VR2. The little screen is supposed to be like 4K now. They're like shooting for OLED,
right?
Which that even makes me more. So now, like, I may even want to choose to use that screen like over my television because it's going to be so crystal clear.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's a really neat feature too, and like they're doing tricky things with it, you know, with that eye tracing, right? The you know.
The foveated rendering.
The foveated rendering, where like it's really focusing on what you're using eye tracing to focus in what you're looking on, and not render anything else to help with the processing power.
Which is definitely understandable.
Yeah, that's a really clever way. That's a super clever way of making it more powerful.
5 talking about it. You know, how it was showing the cone of view, and how it was like, you know, soft rendering like the images and things like that.
That you weren't looking, really that you couldn't see
behind you. Yeah. But as soon as you turned, it fully rendered it. You know, so that it kept it, you know, to be able to run smoothly without bogging down the system.
Super clever way of getting more power out of your system. Right. Really clever. Like, so Sony sounds like they're doing really all the right moves here.
Yeah.
And like they're so dead on here. Like that was the number one thing that I was you know, thinking about with this console was make it be able to play all AAA titles. Even if there is no VR-like tools, let it play it at least. Just let it run it. If it can do that, then people are going to be a lot more incentivized to buy it.
Yeah.
If they know they're buying like a separate console, right? Because that's what it feels like. When you buy the VR, it's like you're buying a separate console.
You're paying $300 for it.
Yeah, and it's like you're buying a separate console, and so all you can play on it are its games. How about... I'm paying $300. I should have some more integration between my normal console,
right?
Because you know it's like this is an expensive accessory, man. Where they turn it into like a Vita, where like it's the separate thing with these separate games. There's no mixture. Getting rid of that barrier, and I think you're gonna have much better sales on this thing.
Yeah, inclusiveness keeps it from being a gimmick.
Right.
It just makes it a gimmick when you have to get.
And no one wants a gimmick.
Specific things for it. You know what I mean? Like
no one wants
you
a
have
gimmick.
to do.
You know.
You have to buy this game in order to play with it. You know what I mean? Or else you can't really do anything. You know, with it. That it's utilized for or whatever.
Yeah, this is the right direction.
I also thought it was funny because recently all of the Elden Ring stuff has started popping up across the board, you know, so because it's releasing for Xbox, PC, you know, all that stuff. So the Steam account's finally pulled up the page, you know, it has it on there. PlayStation has it.
You can pre-order now and wishlist it, right? Yeah.
I think you can wishlist it, but you can't pre-order it. It's not available for pre-order yet, but you have the access to look at it and see how it's going. And I thought it was funny because I was looking at it, and it was posted by a couple of people also within like the last day or two, and of recording this, and it was showing that you know, it had the 4 players that you could play together online or whatever, PS Plus supporting, but it also showed that it was PSVR capable, that PSVR was enabled on it, and you could use the PS aim controller, which is that little, you know, that little gun.
That's what was trippy to me.
And I thought that was interesting,
like,
because that would seem like this would be a shooter of some sort.
Why in the heck would that be available on this game?
Yeah, so then my gear started like really turning. Like,
yeah,
okay,
like what is this game?
Like, I must have missed something through the gameplay that we saw and whatnot. Like they're really holding.
There's nothing shooter about this. Yeah,
yeah, but. Today, before starting recording this, I pulled up the stuff again so we could have all of our topics listed out, and this was in fact taken off of it, and they put an asterisk on there at the very top that says this does not support PSVR. So they made it a point to say, "Hey, we fucked up. Like we didn't
because that was the rumors going
when
around.
We posted it.
Yeah,
like it does not have PSVR on it." So unfortunately, there's not that cool aspect on it. But that would have led me to believe that PSVR was closer
than what it is.
Thought.
Yeah,
because if you got a brand new game and you don't have a PSVR system, like a new one, like you're holding something.
This would be PSVR 2.
Yeah.
Like it would like the way this would work is PSVR 2, right?
Something graphically beautiful, such as Elden Ring.
Exactly.
Definitely.
Yeah, I was blown away too, man. When you sent me that text and like you were telling me, I was like,
you're trying to figure it out, and I was like, dude, it says aim controller on there.
Aim control.
Yeah,
I was like,
I got the picture. I'll put it here so you guys.
I was tripped out by that. You know, like I was like, aim controller. Okay, the multiplayer I get. And, like, I guess maybe it could run through the VR lenses, but the aim controller really was like, that's bizarre. Yeah. Your arrows? Your bow and arrows? Like, what would you use that for? Would you, like, put it away and, like, pick it up?
But, yeah, the fact that you'd have to, that's like your controller. That was used as your controller.
Yeah, so exactly.
You would have to put the other two down to
ring
this. So, and it would have to register.
This is really trying to be role-playing. You know, when you pull your bow off your back?
Yeah, I mean that's how it was with The Walking Dead, but you just reach behind your back and squeeze the trigger,
and then like that it is, but like actually pulling a real thing out.
Yeah, you got the little holster,
like,
and
hurry up,
attachment. You just pull it down. You
you're
let
trying
the
to be
controllers
like,
go. You pull it up, and then you got your gun. You sit that down.
That's funny, dude. That's funny. Yeah, I was like, what are they doing with this thing? But yeah, they released that clarification
for sure
and fixed that whole confusion.
Yeah, but so. We wanted to kind of spring off and just have like a question of like the week, like a main question or whatever that we've kind of been something that we've been kind of pondering for a while now. And that question is, should pre-orders exist? So like this year's been really funny with video game releases and things like that. Essentially after last November, things really changed with how games have been working, or at least it's been really more apparent about it happening. But we've had like crazy pushbacks on video games, like left and right. It seems like almost every month there's a game that's getting pushed back to another month. And we're just like, damn, like, we're literally in the middle of droughts. And we're grasping at games here. And there's, certain games that end up, coming through, and there's a lot of them that don't. And we just keep looking for the far future. We've got all of these consoles, the PlayStation 5, the Xboxes,
the Switches,
the Steam Decks, the Switch OLEDs.
Even the Steam
like
gets
that.
pushed on the reservations,
the
right?
Graphics cards, the different things like that have been, all these things that have been coming out. And a lot of these things have pre-orders on them. And it's almost like, I was just talking about this before, we started, but I kind of feel like the pre-orders are feeling a little Kickstarter-ish, almost. Like, how, like, if you don't know about Kickstarter, like, you pretty much, like, have an idea, and then you put it on Kickstarter, and you say, hey, this is what I want to do. This is how much it's going to take for me to do it. Can you help me? And then people just, throw the money into the pile, and then once you reach your goal, sometimes you can exceed it well over. Sometimes you give yourself a time frame of how long you want the goal to be set for, and then it's whatever. And a lot of times when you're donating to that goal, you're actually purchasing the item that they're trying to make or whatever, so that you have like first dibs at it. It's like a pre-order. So it's like trying to like pre-order. I know some places do it, like GameStop will give you the ability to pre-order a game like way ahead of time. As we've seen, Elden Ring is not able to be pre-ordered just yet on like Xbox or PlayStation 5 or even Steam, but you probably can pre-order it at GameStop. But doesn't that seem like a game that can be pushed back multiple times? Like, oh, I pre-ordered this game because it was supposed to be, kind of like Biomutant, right? I had pre-ordered it because it was supposed to come out at the end of 2020. And then all of a sudden now it's not 2020, it's 2021.
Right.
And it's like, damn, well,
so
I've
what
already
did you do?
given my
you
money
canceled
or whatever.
You tried to cancel.
So I'm pulling it back. You know what I mean? Because I'll donate that time or that money or whatever to something else that's going to come out on time.
Right.
Or whatever, and especially when, you don't even know when it's going to come out. It's almost inevitable, like when the release is. You know, it's just
right.
It's unclear.
Exactly.
You know?
That's my biggest beef with it.
Right.
And I think you make a great point with your Kickstarter analogy. Mm-hmm. I do think like it's a problem. Like I do think that companies, we've seen it all the time. With Cyberpunk, they went and they announced, oh, we have some odd million pre-orders. And they're using that as like a way to like judge funding and judge like profits and leverage their company and sell profits to their shareholders. Yeah. And like, you know, they use that. And I think that's wrong. Like, I just think it's like wrong. And it gets to be even more muddy when you're, in a sense, when I go to the counter to buy something, I got to realize, what am I getting? Mm-hmm. And part of what I'm getting is being told when I'm getting it. And when they cannot follow through ever, it seems like ever. I can't think of a game in the last year, even 2 years maybe, that has come out when I was told it was going to come out.
Yeah.
Everything seems to be delayed. Everything seems to be pushed back. Nothing seems to be available. And pre-orders just seem to be getting more and more rampant. Like, I go to GameStop, and I try to go the day the game comes out because I don't like pre-orders. Yeah. I don't like to pre-order games. You know, it's not something that I want to do because I think like you, and I do think like it ends up turning into like your analogy. I'm kickstarting this game, and that's bullcrap. Like, I need to know that you need to make this game, and then I'll pay for it. Don't tell me I'm pre-ordering something that doesn't exist yet, that you're secretly, in a sense, using to kickstart your own game.
Or that you're still making alterations on.
Or you're still making, it's not even gold, and you're making me buy it.
Yeah.
At least with the Kickstarter, there's honesty there. Like, hey, this project doesn't exist yet, but if you want it to exist, yes.
Our possible time frame, we're trying to work on this.
Yeah, and if you want to support this idea, fund it. They're not like honest with these pre-orders. The games aren't done yet. Like Cyberpunk, that wasn't done, not even close. Like, obviously we can all agree upon that now, but what did we all do? We all got ripped off. Some people couldn't even get their pre-orders back from PlayStation. Like, it's just a total mess. So, but the thing is, they're becoming more and more rampant. I try to, because I try to go into GameStop like the day the game comes out, and they won't let me get the game unless I pre-ordered it.
Yeah,
I'm like, that's so rank, dude. So, like, you're forcing me now to kickstart this game. Like, I don't even have a choice anymore. Like, if I want to get this game the day it comes out, I have to pre-order it. Like, that's so rank to me. And I don't really know what else we can do apart from, like, which is why, like, I still appreciate the Walmarts of the world. It's like I can walk into Walmart and usually they have it. But sometimes, like, these obscure games, like, maybe like Returnal or something, may not even be at Walmart, and like the only way I can get it is like going to like the GameStop, you know, and pre-ordering it, and it's just like, man, what is going on? And it just gets more muddy, and in my mind, like more of an ethical issue when you're not honest with your dates.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it's like a catch-22 to pre-orders, because I feel like a pre-order is really nice when you know something is extremely coveted
and it's coming,
and you're just guaranteed it,
and you're like, guaranteed
I can pre-order it because I'm guaranteed.
That's what matters.
But as long as I get it on the day that it's showcasing, I can buy it at. Like, if I'm pre-ordering it for this Saturday, but it's no longer coming out this Saturday, then what the fuck am I doing? Like, what was the purpose of me pre-ordering this thing? Like, I pre-ordered it for knowing that day I am going to get it, not the possibility that I'm going to get it. You know what I mean? That's why we pre-ordered these consoles and stuff like that, because that day it said it was going to release on the 25th. It better release on the 25th, and I get my version, because I just paid 600 bones on this thing to guarantee that I got it. You know what I mean? Like sneakers. Like, that's one of those things that I wish pre-orders were around for them. You know what I mean? Because those shits are gone lickety-split. Like, you blink your eyes and the shoes are gone. So there's no way for you to, like, you know, there's not really any way for you to walk into a store and get them. You'd have to be really lucky.
Right.
You know, but, like, you're just not guaranteed them. So if they did pre-orders for that, I'd be, you know, cool. Because the majority of the time they do release when they have it. Like, if you give me, and if you give me a day that says you can pre-order from this time to this time, and then they will be shipped out at this time. Like, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with knowing that in 2 weeks I'm gonna get it.
That's the benefit of the pre-order, like you were saying.
Right, it's
like when I go into
something.
GameStop and I say, "Oh, this game's coming out next week or next month,"
Yeah,
I'll pre-order it then because I know what I'm getting.
right.
But what if I find out through the grapevine or whatever? Hey, sorry, it's next year now. Well, what was the point of my pre-order? I'll just go pull it back and I'll spend that money somewhere else. Like,
yeah, it's not going anywhere if it's next year. I'll just wait till later.
I know, exactly.
Let me move my shit to something else.
So it's just like,
damn.
Does it even matter then? If dates if dates aren't solidified, and like you said, which is why this question's been more so burning us more recently, if dates don't matter anymore, because in my opinion, they don't. Come on, let's be honest. Like when we see the launch date of any new game, I think all of us,
You think, that's getting
that ain't
pushed
gonna
back. That
stick.
ain't the
It's
date.
gonna get pushed.
Yeah.
Like I think we all realize that now. I don't think any dates mattered. I'm decentivized from wanting to ever pre-order a game because I just don't have a clue when it's really coming out.
And they try to entice the hell out you by saying, "Oh, you can get this armor if you pre-ordered, or you can get this pet, or you can
Right.
get these features,
Or this beta
something
access.
like that, or the beta
like
access."
with New World, yeah.
But I've seen it's so many possibilities. Like I could pre-order, what is it? The one Battlefield 2042. I could pre-order Battlefield right now just so that I can get beta access, and then unpre-order that bitch just so I have
Exactly.
beta access to play it.
Same with New World.
Like, why make it like that? Like, I understand you trying to lock in your figures and stuff like that, but if you're not gonna drop this shit on the day that it's supposed to be dropped, don't even play with me.
Yeah,
Just
I agree.
don't put it out there.
I agree.
I mean, if your whole thing is like you have beta access until the game releases, you're only able to play these certain portions. That's something probably worth pre-ordering. I got a game that's getting slowly improved on until it releases, and I have access to it. You know what I mean? If I had to pre-order for Grounded, I would do it because they keep on improving Grounded.
Yeah,
They're not
it's
just
like
letting it sit.
It's like they're worried. Like if they just were like with Grounded. Hey, this game isn't done yet.
Mm-hmm.
This is an alpha, but you can buy it and enjoy what we have so far,
Right.
and know that when it releases and launches, you'll have it too. It's like Cyberpunk and these places like are afraid to do something like that because it's like lying.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're making it seem like it's available. This is when you're getting it. It's done. It makes it feel like it's done. Like you're not kickstarting anything, but you're really not. Clearly, like they're not done with it. They need to know what kind of numbers this thing will sell for, to see if it's just all underhanded in a lot of ways. It's underhanded, and like that's what's so ridiculous about this whole pre-order fiasco and the date system fiasco. I would rather than being like, look, it's still an alpha, but like this is what you get
Right.
when you pre-order. Just like be honest, we're funding this thing.
Yeah, I would be really interested in games that I saw that gave you just unlimited access to small portions of the game until the game released.
I never get mad
you
at those.
pre-ordered.
Like the Steam early access. Like I never
early
get.
access
I've
stuff.
never been mad at those
Because you've already bought the game and you getting to experience the game. But
Yeah,
we're telling you
and
it's not done.
And they're telling me it's
So-
not done.
You know what to expect. It's not done. So if you have complaints or whatever, you can mention those complaints, tweet them to me. And we might be able to fix some of those things. You know what? I've heard several different complaints like that. We'll change that. Thank you for letting us know. Whatever.
Perfect.
You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? Just doing things to improve the game.
Exactly.
And you have nobody complaining. I pre-ordered this shit and it's trash. Like, okay, tell me what you don't like about
Dude,
it.
honestly,
You know
I
what I
don't
mean? And we
think
can see.
anyone would have been mad had Cyberpunk said, "Hey, we're launching this game still, but it's in beta or it's in alpha. So enjoy what you want to enjoy, but understand, dude, I think they would have still sold tons of them, and then people wouldn't have been as pissed off. They would have
Right.
realized that, hey, I know what I bought was an alpha phase. Or
Right.
you can be like us, where we might wait now until it's not an alpha phase. But you avoid all the shitstorm when you make it sound like this thing is done. Now pre-order this game like it's done,
Right.
when clearly it's not.
I would have thought that would have been really interesting if Cyberpunk had have dropped it and it's like, this is the beta version. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're buying the game and you're getting the game, but we're going to be making constant changes throughout the game.
I don't think anyone would have been mad.
These are changes that they would have made anyways, right? But they've let you know up front that there's a lot of issues with the game. But we're in the process of trying to fix them, but we want to get it out there for you guys. And you guys can help us to fix these issues, but the things that are coming up. Because for some real weird reason, you know, a lot of these scenarios do not pop up with us. So you can help us find them. You do weird different things. You do shit. You find stuff. Report it. It's going to be a report button. Report that, and we can fix all of these things and make this game better.
I agree so much. And
then you see the graphical improvements. You see the bug improvements. You see,
and that's when the game is improved most, because you only have so many game testers in house.
Right.
But when you unleash it to millions of people, dude, you really get to narrow in. You really get to narrow down where all the problems are at.
Yeah. I feel like full transparency goes a long way.
Absolutely. Like I said, I've never been upset. I honestly do feel like even with Horizon, Forbidden West, or any of these games, if they're in an alpha form or beta form, I would not be mad. I'm just saying, me personally, if they said, okay, we're willing to launch this now if you want it, but understand it's in beta or alpha and this will change, I might buy it oftentimes, because I've spent money on early access games on Steam.
Yeah.
I've done it. I've spent money, but I got something. I got a game. It may not be finished, but I got something for that.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's like, I've never been upset when that happens. For some reason, there's the stigma. Like, these companies feel like they have to release like a fully 100% finished complete game before they can launch it. And I don't necessarily know if that's true or not, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that one of these big developers should try something like that. You know what I mean? Just like roll the dice.
I agree. Just see
what happens with it and see how it goes.
Hey, Skull and Bones, we have the alpha footage.
We're letting you.
You can buy it right now and play it.
You guys can play the beta. It's gonna be open. We're gonna have it open until we fully release the game, but you guys will be able to see all the changes and help us, you know, find all of the little bugs that we may have missed. You know what I mean? But you're gonna be able to enjoy the game now. We're selling it to you now.
Exactly.
There's a lot less complaining when you know the game is not perfect.
A lot less.
When you're sold that a game is gold
done
and it's good,
it went gold.
We fixed all the issues, but then day one, faces are missing and things like that, and they're putting out an emergency patch, like within 24 hours of the game releasing to everybody. There's an emergency patch. Oh, it's trouble. It's like, oh shit, you didn't see none of this. Like, you didn't catch none of this shit before?
Because you can't tell me, bro, that, like, had Cyberpunk launched the way we're talking, like a beta launch, they would have made tons of money then, and come around this year for their soft relaunch, that they wouldn't have made a ton of money again. Once you announce, hey, the game is now done and it's an official launch, you're going to sell a whole bunch of copies again. So I just don't know, like, what they're necessarily worried about. Forbidden West, no matter what you do, bro, you're going to sell a lot of copies.
Yeah.
So you might as well be open and transparent, and you'll probably sell more.
I mean, just think if, like, they had to put Cyberpunk originally as, like, the first initial part of the city that you start off at. And that's all you were able to explore. So you're able to do all the missions in there and stuff like that. And then, and all you got is Street Kid or Corpo. And then
they add another option.
They add in Nomads.
Yeah.
And then now you have the outer area to explore and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
And you get to see it grow as it's being built, right?
Yeah. And you see all of the improvements. And then, it's less bogging down on the game. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to worry about all that stuff. So all that shit back out there that you haven't fixed yet, you could perfect the city, get that so it's nice and tight. And then you can perfect that other stuff. And then you're slowly putting everything. And this is all the stuff that you originally had planned for the game. But because you have to keep pushing that shit out, you can just focus on this part right here and slowly release everything to people. So there's always a reason to log back into that game. You might have done the whole city, but it's out. It's outer areas now. It's desert and stuff you can access now. Check it out.
Yeah,
I mean?
exactly.
There's a whole new class you could play now.
Exactly.
You can play the whole thing over again, and the story's not done yet.
Yeah, I think it makes so much more sense to say, like, early access starts this day. And that, I think you can always hit that. Because when you preface it that way, you're not under pressure to release anything that people already don't know is being worked on, right? Like, you can say, hey, early access is November 9th. And you're like, okay, and we as consumers can choose to buy in now or wait until early access is over.
Right. That's just as solid as
it's
any,
perfect.
Any Kickstarter I've seen that's giving you early access to an item or whatever, and it's giving you prototypes and stuff like that. You know, you're able to have access to the first ones that's made. Oh, now we've created the first ones. Thank you for all the help. We've refined everything, so now we have this newer version that you can get. You know what I mean? And still getting the help and stuff that the Kickstarters need or whatever. But it's like, hey, we've created this first version of it for you, and it's working great. And we've moved on, we've added some things. So buy into the game, because we've added a lot more to it, and we're going to keep adding to it until we finished our whole roadmap of the stuff that we wanted, the DLCs and all of that stuff. You know what I mean? You could finish it off and then be like, at the very end, it's like $10 for this extra DLC. We've given you everything that we originally planned, and now we have this DLC that's added on to it,
Yeah, I would be really surprised, man, if one of the big developers came out and said, hey, we're trying something new. We're going to launch early access for whatever, Cyberpunk, or let's say Witcher 4.
Yeah.
Dude, I think there'd be lots of buzz. I think they'd create lots of buzz around themselves. I think people are like, wow, this is an interesting idea.
Yeah.
And it would probably work out so much better for them in the long run. Their house burns so bad because of this.
I mean, who wouldn't want to be like playing the game like first and then give like some sort of input that like changes the whole aspect of the game, or
that's
just
cool.
Add something in, like, I suggested that, and they took that and then they put it in there, because I was really griping about this, and I emailed.
Yeah, I think that's how Hades was. I think Hades was like early access, because I saw this a long time ago. I waited until it launched, but a lot of people bought it at early access and they loved it, and it's like, dude, but look how well it did anyways.
Yeah.
Hades didn't really hurt at all from sales. They only did better.
Yeah, I know my boy Brahms, he's playing like a couple of games that are in like alpha or beta. What I mean? Like they're because Steam gives you access to a lot of that shit. Like the indies be giving you a lot of.
The developers allow that, and Steam started that early access thing.
You're helping fund them.
Yeah, and it's
this shit's in alpha, but you could buy it anyways.
I feel like PC's ahead of the times, man. Steam at least is ahead of the times on this. If consoles had been where PCs are at right now, I honestly don't think the Cyberpunk fiasco would have happened. You wouldn't see a delay every month.
Yeah.
For every game.
There wouldn't be a need for a delay.
There'd be no need.
You know what I mean?
What are you delaying?
Obviously, you have certain things that you have to worry about with like games that have like full-on stories and stuff like that. But a game like Cyberpunk, you know what I mean? You pretty much do like the basic initial story fairly quickly, you know what I mean? But you have so many side quests and stuff like that. Like even if you didn't finish the story off top within your first like 10 hours of gameplay or whatever, there was so much stuff to do in the city that it's okay.
Yeah, and think about player retention.
You can get access to more of those main story missions later.
Yeah, and think of and think of like with piggybacking off that, like with player retention. Remember, like Stadia wanted the player retention, dude. Like, how cool would it be if like we got an announcement? Oh, patch 1.48 is coming out in Cyberpunk. We know it's going to be a cool new addition because they're building on the game. So now they're giving us the next section they built. I'm going to hop back in, man. I'm going to hop back in and I'm going to see what is new, that they just added in. It's not just like a bug patch. Right, like patch whatever added like stability. There's stability. It's like no,
the damage. Yeah.
This early access thing is like when a patch launches, like, dude, what cool thing was added?
Right, we fixed all this stuff, but we added this.
That's what's like exciting about like early access stuff, and gets me to want to hop back in again. So
But yeah, so I don't know. You guys tell us in the comments below. If you think that pre-orders should exist, at least for video games, right? I mean, we know in other aspects where there should be some pre-orders, or you wish that there would be pre-orders.
Or marketed differently. Just don't exist in the way that they exist now, right?
Or just market it, give us that transparency, you know what I mean? Is access to a beta, does access to a beta permanently
while it's
until
developing,
the game fully launches, and then you'll have access to everything that the game was supposed to have, like while they're working on it or whatever, if that's something that's enticing to you. Hit us down in the comments below and let us know, man. And if you know anybody that has those same types of ideas or gripes or whatever, share this to them so that they can put their comments in there too, because I like to get a good conversation going with this, because I feel like pre-orders like are they really
antiquated. They're like old, right? They're like old. They're like
we're kind of
a thing of the past, you know?
Yeah, especially with how things are evolving consistently and wanting to make these games that are like services and stuff like that. Give us the service of playing the game early. Make all of the changes you want.
And I mean, everything's going digital. Everything's going digital anyways, you know?
Right. You know, just give us that option to let us play, you know, at the service. You know,
so absolutely.
But that's all we got for you guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If this was your first time watching the show, let us know. Comment down below. If this is, you know, if you've been coming back to the show, then we appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Just let us know in the comments. Hey, I sat through this bitch this long to hear this. You know, what's good?
You made it here, man.
Yeah, put what's good down in there.
Yeah, if you made it to the end, let us know. Say what's good. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And until next week, we'll catch you guys later. Deuces.
Peace.
See you.
I love you, me.